So it was very astutely pointed out to me in a comment on Facebook that my aspect ratio on OBS had gotten really weird. And I didn't notice it when I put out the second edition min-maxing for fun and profit video. But I do notice it now. But it's okay. Because we're still here. We're still going to play some Kingmaker. The computer hasn't exploded. And I think that's the most important part. All of my...
There's still time.
There's still... Thank you. Thank you so much, friend. As always, thank you guys for your support on Patreon, helping us do the things we love to do, kill the kobolds for money. We are missing a Kalira today. I'm hoping Kalira will... I'm sorry, I looked over at Discord, and why is our first foil a damn fairy dragon? I'm hoping our angry barbarian will see this and jump in relatively soon. But... Dell has requested to go last for the in-character reflection and the introductions and things, so I'm just going to throw a D4 down, and I'll run from Discord. We'll start with... I got to do the thing, don't I? Sorry, I'm also, just kind of firing up. It's been a hell of a weekend for me. So you guys can put a face to a voice. We'll start with Senia for the who you are, what you are, your in-character for the last session we had.
So Senya is a Kelid barbarian of the Geminid Invoker kind, though she hasn't learned her Geminid Invoker skills yet. She's a scout for the party, and what else do we need?
The events of last session and how you're getting behind your character's eyes real quick.
Gotcha. So she feels a bit, I guess, a little embarrassed for having dropped the proverbial ball on not going after the pesky fairy dragon, and just doing a warning shot, and feels a little unsure of herself and unsure of her skills because clearly she failed her party there. And all this magical fire stuff and being apparently bested by a berry bush has made things a little difficult, shall we say.
We, in fact, almost did die to a bush last time. I forgot about that. Fair enough. Take your hero point, and next will be not Kato. The dice say Kalira. So we're going to go to Tabor's house, because I rolled a 2 again. This always happens when you let the dice decide. We're going to beat him up. We'll take it to Ionia next.
Alright, I'm playing an occultist. That was all you need mechanically, right? Just from playing an occultist.
Yeah, unless there's any archetypes or anything we should be aware of.
Nope, just flatter occultist. And then I wrote a little thing again, so I'll read that now.
Oh yeah, you did. I forgot you do that. Just showing everybody up.
Oh, and that's grassy after this, probably.
That's what you get for going last.
Ionia hops cheerfully down the path, following behind her hopeful new kobold allies, occasionally peering back toward her less enthusiastic party members. A curse, she thinks to herself. An entire village affected by a curse. Who would have done this? An ancient ruler who was betrayed by the current chieftain's bloodline? A jealous witch taking out her anger on an entire community? Or perhaps one of the kobolds found an ancient relic belonging to an evil entity? Ooh, I hope it's that one. One thing is certain, there is a mystery here, and I'm gonna solve it. Just imagine the secrets we can uncover. And solving this puzzle will earn us our first adherence. Looking back once more, she looks back once more, giving Kato an eager smile. This is my chance to show them the value of diplomacy, to show that I too have value, even if I can't swing a sword.
All right, and who wants to follow that?
Dell.
Okay, I hear Dell wants to.
No, I said I was last, remember?
This is his one. Everybody gets the one. It's super early. And now Ionia and Kato have used theirs. So by process of elimination, it goes to the tax man.
Right. So my characters are Taurus, and I'm playing an Inquisitor, tactical Inquisitor, trying to do ranged things with spells. We'll see. We'll see how it works. The last time, I think there were a few things of note. I think probably the Fey Dragon, where where Arcturus would stand on that. He's obviously disappointed that we turned to violence kind of immediately, but at the same, it's a creature of chaos, so he's really not that beat up about it. And going into the kobold situation, I'm probably, or rather, he's probably cautiously optimistic that his party will actually stick to a relatively diplomatic, I don't know, outcome, but at the same time, he knows who he's partying with, so he's looking at it like as a test for his fellows to see if they have it within them to actually not be terrible for a period of time. And yeah.
Good enough for me. Okay, hero points all around. I will scream at Kalira when Kalira shows up. That Kalira needs to carry their weight. But in any case, to dive right in, the kobolds would like to escort you straight to their camp. The journey is a couple of days.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
We forgot.
Oh, we forgot Kato. Oh,
you had Kato's
you shouldn't have said anything. You shouldn't have said anything. He would have got off.
He was making hand across the throat noises at me.
My bad. Take it away, Kato.
I guess I wouldn't have got a hero point, right, if I don't do this. So
nope, you get nothing because I forgot, and it's your fault.
All right.
That seems fair.
So
yeah.
Thanks, Tara. Cato Sicarius, level 1 swashbuckler, Rosalind Bravo archetype, level 1 monk, master of many styles archetype. What was that? So, Cato is in an interesting position. No one would say Cato is necessarily discriminatory or racist. However, he is certainly someone who's been brought up in a very formal household, surrounded by very specific company for most of his life, and hasn't had much opportunity or to interact or deal with certain other creatures, beast races, things of that nature that that Cato might be taken aback by in first encounters with these types of people. Anywhere that's lacking civilization, government, proper form would all be very foreign and very alien to Cato. So as we're journeying deeper into the Stolen Lands and meeting the kobolds, and it's just kind of the tip of the iceberg as I feel we're going to meet even more rough civilizations and groups of beings that are less fancy and formal than he's used to. It's going to be an interesting learning experience for him. So I wouldn't say he's disgusted or recoiling or anything from these kobolds, but he's definitely weary and unsure about them, and what their motives are, and whether they're as intelligent as some of his party members might be making them out to be, as they don't seem to be acting all that intelligent right now with the whole whatever it was they were eating last session and basically killing themselves on it. So he's still yet to be won over by these kobolds, but we'll see how that plays out. He's open-minded enough that anything is possible. So here we are.
Fair enough. Okay, now we're really gonna start. Unless Tibor showed up while that was going on. Nope, never mind. Tibor's dead. Tibor exploded. Everything is horrible.
Long live Tibor.
Or that. Also that. The Tibor is dead. Long live the Tibor. Okay, so as I was saying, the kobolds would like to lead you straight on from where you guys are now to their where they live. It's gonna be a couple of days travel if anyone wants to do anything during or do anything before we go there.
Sure. I think how are we looking on provisions?
We're good on water. I know that.
You want to do some? You want to do some hunting on the way?
I don't. It's not a bad idea. Make sure that we're well stocked on the venison.
Okay. There should be more than enough time to do that as you guys are stopping to rest in things. I just want to double check how fast a kobold is. I think they're slow and small. Yep, okay. So that means you guys have the slowest speed in the party is 30 feet. So that's 5, 10. It takes you about, all told, considering that you're just booking through, about 24 hours. So you guys will need to rest. I'm going to put you over there. We're just going to grab Kato for this one. 8 hours here. And then I'll say as you get like right here, this square has something in it that's called a landmark, which means even if you're not looking for it, you will definitely see it. As you guys make your way following the kobolds further and further south, rising up kind of, I want to say the Animal Kingdom at Disney World, just an enormous graying hulk of a sycamore tree. Must be at least 100 feet tall for you guys to see it from where you guys are, like, as you cross over that way. The kobolds seem to want to give it a pretty big, like, berth.
What's the surrounding area to that tree look like? Is it just like one tree standing all by itself, or is it, like a grouping of trees?
Pretty much just, one big, enormous tree.
Have you guys ever seen anything like that?
Are you asking the kobolds or us?
You guys. I'm not talking to the kobolds right now.
Well, it's no Avatar's temple, which is to say no.
So that's a very big tree.
The kobolds. Man, I thought I got it all out while you guys were talking. I guess not. The struggle. Oh, man, hang on one second.
Go for it.
And on top of everything else that's gone on this weekend, I'm getting sick. Lovely. Okay, so like I said, the kobolds are like trying to do everything in their power to skirt the tree, as soon as they see it, they react and they start turning to keep it on the horizon as much as possible. A day passes. Senia is like, it's not hard for Senia to find. Well, actually, no. That's boring. Senia, give me a perception check.
Perception. Where are you? There we go.
Well, we are off to the races. Okay, so Senia goes out. Senia does a hunt. Also, am I coming through okay? I notice my my ping on Discord is really bad.
Well, we can hear you fine, but there's like I hear like a little bit of like latency.
Oh, fair. Okay. Hang on. Let's try that again. So Senia goes out to go find meat for the evening, and before she does though, several bodies of both kobolds and these little small teeny tiny blue creatures about the size of a kobold lay strewn out dead in the hills.
And I go out by myself, like nobody else has gone with me, so I should probably report on that.
Okay.
So I come back to the party and I report on it. So there's a whole bunch of dead kobolds and a whole bunch of other dead creatures that I have found. when I went hunting. And I look at the kobolds. Do you know? Are they your compatriots? Do you know what happened?
The kobolds, they look up, and I hope everyone in internet land will forgive me. I'm not going to voice too hard today because there's too much sick in my throat right now. It'll just come out as sadness. But they look out and just, yeah, it'll come out as that. They died as warriors in battle. They point towards the direction of the tree. That
Battle
tree,
against whom?
the mites, they live under the tree.
Why were you fighting?
They've stolen relics.
Relics, you say?
They nod.
I saw someone's ears just like perk up.
What can you tell me about these relics?
Ah, the statue of old Sharptooth, great kobold god. Maybe I can do a kobold voice a little better when I'm sick. Our wise shaman Tartuk. He says we are cursed because it has been stolen from us. And if we can get it back, the curse will be lifted.
And do you think the mites took the statue?
The kobolds all nod in unison.
Sounds like mumbo jumbo to me.
Don't be so quick. There's a lot of power in sunlight.
The kobolds continue nodding, like looking in the direction of Ionia, pointing at her, nodding. They seem to agree.
Yes, they're very smart.
What are these mites? Describe them.
Oh, very ugly
Maybe so.
creatures. Small, blue, smell of forest, skin, and like the kobold reaches down to like his, I guess like inside his elbow to pull some of the skin like up, as if to like indicate that their skin is really tough and hard to pierce. They are, of course, behind a knowledge nature check.
Knowledge nature, you have to be trained, right?
Yeah. If you want anything better than a 10 anyway.
I certainly don't have knowledge nature. I think Senya does.
I do.
Wah,
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah. Yes, Senya, you've
Not
seen them.
today.
The description that the kobolds are giving is accurate. Those are mites. But you've never seen or heard of them before.
Well, what they described is what I saw dead, but I've never seen these creatures before, so
How
can't help you there, guys. Sorry.
Were they very large?
They're about the size of these little guys.
The only real difference, I suppose, is their heads are probably like twice the size. They're almost like Hey Arnold. Right, their heads are that big. I see we will have a Tibor soon. He's messaged the other chat.
Okay, yeah, I see. So, how far till your chieftain? Are we close?
They point to the south. Next day sometime. Not far now.
Do we expect to encounter any of these mites on the way?
Sometimes we take them prisoner. They probably won't attack big folk, though.
Well, didn't you guys say that the curse that's on you is because of whatever these mites stole from you? So wouldn't it be beneficial for us if we were to go get your stolen items and bring them back to your chieftain?
They nod.
It would certainly be easier if they're not going to attack us.
Oh, I wouldn't be. Even if they wouldn't be aggressive towards us, you can guarantee is if we encroach upon their den or wherever it is they're holed up, that they would defend themselves and their homes. Plus, we don't really know what we're getting into here.
Yeah.
I'd much rather
Only
meet
if
with
we
the chieftain
approach
first.
Only if we approach in a hostile manner, but if we approach diplomatically, perhaps we can.
Maybe, but we should meet with the chieftain first.
Do these mites have language?
They nod.
Not a yes.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I
agree.
mean, I
First,
don't-
we should meet the chieftain.
Yeah, I don't want to say this in front of the kobolds, but
Sidebar. Yet again.
We're so rude.
well, the problem is we don't actually know anything about this. We don't even know if it's theirs. They say they stole it. It could have been the mites to be. We don't know the circumstances by which they took it, or why they took it, or anything.
Well, that's again, if we approach diplomatically, we can investigate that.
Yeah,
So
but clearly,
it sounds like it's a statue of a kobold. So
clearly the kobolds hate these things. So if we were to be like, hey, hold on, let me go talk to your blood enemies and get their side of the story, that probably wouldn't look.
Yeah, there's a time to be diplomatic, but you don't be diplomatic to the enemy of the people that you're in current company with while you're in current company with them.
Let's talk to the chieftain and then come back.
unless you're trying to make peace between the two.
I think while that is a noble goal, I think it's a little naive to just think that you can drop into a. Well, we'll find out how long these two groups have been warring with each other. But to drop in and say, "Hey guys, maybe you should just be friends."
I'm not saying there's like zero chance that we'll end up fighting. I'm just saying it's worth
I know.
a shot.
I'm just saying, don't get too overly optimistic.
I'm just saying, don't get too trigger happy. It doesn't exactly fit this IP, but you know, Star Wars.
Wait,
What?
settle down. No, the
Yeah,
point
you see
the
that.
point is we should go speak to the chieftain, agree to help, probably, then come back, and then we can talk with them and see get their side of
Well,
the
of course
story
we
and do
should.
all the.
Yeah, of course we should talk to the chieftain first.
Yeah,
Well-
we should at least get the whole one side of the story before we even like consider like gathering the other side. But
Well, yeah, I'm not saying we go there now. I'm just talking in the future.
I thought you were saying we go there now.
that's what I was
No.
picking up. Like, why don't we just go talk to them?
No, I'm saying like inevitably at some point we will.
Okay, well, let's
be-
cross that distant bridge when we get there.
And this
Makes
is the
sense.
story of how we murdered an entire mite village.
That's not.
I mean, don't get me excited.
Oh boy.
Okay, so you guys, the night passes uneventfully. There are no fairy dragons come to troll you this time. Fortunately enough for everybody. And we have a Tibor!
And the fairy dragons are back.
And the fairy dragon shows up specifically now for Tibor. Alright, so I guess real quick, if Tibor is feeling alive in one piece, everything attached and stuff, if we could get a quick in-character reflection for your hero point and who you are and what you're playing and all that fun stuff, that'd be great.
All right. I am Kalira. And last time she's kind of a bit of a funk right now because she's realizing that she misses Rostov as much as she hated living in Rostov and hated everyone in there and everything about it. It was her home, and all this wilderness stuff it's very strange and unappealing to her. She does kind of enjoy these little kobold creatures. She kind of thinks they're cute, and she's looking forward to see what kind of mischief they can bring. Maybe distract her from her slight depression.
Fair enough. Alright, good enough. And you are playing a...
Oh yes, and I'm a half-elf barbarian.
Good enough for me. And I'm gonna... Okay. And now, you guys arrive. It takes the better part, probably, of the next day, crossing through the hills. eventually you guys come upon it's basically right on that river. There's a cavern that the kobolds lead you to. You probably could have found it on your own had you been actively looking around in the hills to try to find the thing. But the kobolds know exactly where it is they're going. I'm going to slide you guys over to that map. I am about 99% sure you have control of your tokens. Oh, there's so many. I'm going to drop you guys off at Oleg's real quick so I can scroll farther over and get to the kobold map. And now we're...
All right, so I'm just catching up here. We met the Kobold Chief and
haven't met the chief yet. Haven't met the chief yet.
Oh, we're on our way still.
You haven't missed a lot of much. There's a really big tree, the kobolds, and actually, if Kalira could give me a knowledge nature check.
Alrighty.
The power of having 2 barbarians in the party is great.
Well, you say that, but really known for them knowledge.
Fair enough. So yeah, Kalira doesn't know any more about what a might is than maybe a little more than Sinia, but not enough to get a whole lot of much. And, alright, so you guys are brought to the entrance of what very clearly used to be a silver mine. Sitting on top of the entrance, it's all, banged up and sad from sitting out for a billion years, basically. It's really scratched up. You get every, 5th letter, perhaps. Something in common, some proper noun, mining company, you think. The 3 kobolds, by the by, everybody can control their token, right?
Yeah.
Yep. I see a bunch of tokens moving, and I'll take that as a yes. Okay. The 3 kobolds make their way inside. It's, even for them, they have to, lower their heads and shoulders a little bit. For you guys, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. No one speaks Draconic. They say something in Draconic to the kobold on guard.
Can I just interrupt you for a second?
Sure.
This dynamic, view thing is, because there's all these rocks, is basically can't see anything.
Yeah, that's about where you guys would be right now.
Yeah, that's the point.
Had you come at this from the other way with the kobolds that are notorious for traps and sneak attacks and things. Gonna slide in here. You hear the sounds of 4 of them make their way inside the caves, and then there's the sounds of a cage rattling from just inside the rocks as the kobolds go inside.
Oh, man. I like how the 2 barbarian tokens are slightly larger than the other one.
Yeah, you got more mass.
You 2 are some chunky.
Kalira heard you say that, she wouldn't take 2 count now.
I mean, she eats so much porridge.
She's getting kind of thick, ever since she stopped off at Oleg's.
It's a little
she
more
has a
than
very
mass,
high metabolism.
Yeah.
Maybe you should join Senya on the hunting expedition. Lose some of that extra weight.
She burns calories being a badass.
These kobolds, did they seem like they were still wanting us to follow them into the cave?
You're not sure. They said a bunch of things in a language no one knows, and then inside they went.
Did we catch any of their names?
I don't think we did.
No one ever asked. They were just
never even asked.
Lead to chief. You guys hear the sounds of a cage rattling a little bit faster now from just inside the cave.
Well, I guess in we go.
Should we light a torch or something?
There are enough. Yeah, you probably should. Fair enough. I was because I didn't expect combat to happen on this map. I turned on you guys can all see in there, but it's definitely dark. So we will assume someone casts light or lights a torch.
I got light covered.
You got light covered.
Got enough casters in the party that a couple cantrips thrown around shouldn't be that hard.
We should probably sell off all these
Oops.
torches we have.
I have a bullseye lantern. I'd like to take that out.
You can throw it away.
Considering
I can see.
Considering Esker just magically like illuminated a 20-foot.
Yeah, that's only 20 feet. I want to see some shit coming at me, so
I can keep.
How far
I'll
is
grab
I can
that.
put it on an item.
Yeah, I
How
know,
far's your
but it's still 20 feet.
How far's your lantern?
Well, it's
Stats, I
a
just
20
know it's
foot
further.
radius, so that's what, like 40 feet across.
Yeah, but my point is I want to be further ahead. That's my point.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
gonna cast
I was,
light on your dumb lantern. How about that?
That would be ineffectual, but that's fine.
Casting light on the inside of the lantern, I suppose, would still like send the light out in the direction you're wanting to. In any case, as you guys are deliberating,
Okay, 160 foot, 60 foot cone.
they
Um,
okay. So Dell did a move. The kobolds are about here. Dell can, or I'm getting people's names all kinds of backwards. Kato can see there's a small, sad-looking blue creature. I think you should be able to see it from there. Okay, never mind.
I
I don't
can't
know.
see-
You were
can't
like
see
there
anything.
for long enough to. Yeah. Whoa, you gotta get
one of
away.
you
I'll
with the
just move
light
here a little
should
bit.
maybe go.
yeah,
There we go.
I don't mind going up in there.
Ooh, I see the blue creature.
The caves are really small. Kato, like, it dawns on Kato basically as soon as he moves in that if he had to fight in here, it would be really difficult for him because he can't really spread his arms all the way.
It's almost like it's kobold sized.
Almost like it's kobold size. This little blue thing sees you and it kind of just like gurgles out. Clearly it hasn't had water in a while and it shakes its bars. As that's happening, a pair of kobolds, one of them like a soot black scaled, makes its way. They'll move outside. The black scaled one is wearing. It's hard to say what the skull is. It could be another kobold. It could be some kind of small reptile, but wearing it as a helmet with feathers all over themselves. Behind them, about the same size, but their scales are like a bright, brilliant violet in color, chanting something or other in Draconic. The four kobolds, three of which you traveled with, one of which the guard, come out. The black-scaled one makes his way over to the three people in the party who are outside, and he starts to just, hail to... No, silence you! The purple one comes up. So, you are the tall folk who have been sent to help us in our time of terror. I am Tartuk, shaman of the Soot Scale tribe. He extends a clawed hand.
So, who's outside right now?
Right now, it's you two. I'll say it to everybody else, the conversation is happening outside if you want to...
Yeah, I'm crawling my way back out. It's way too claustrophobic in here, and I just got kind of put off by the gurgling of the
Fair
blue
enough.
guy.
Okay.
It's not really my character style to be doing intros.
You said dark scale or black scale?
Soot Scale.
Soot scale.
Third option.
I was trying to find my way out of the cave.
So
You should answer this guy.
I guess.
I'll,
All right.
I'll answer. Fine. Kalir
No.
stands up. Yep.
No.
Kalir stands up and kind of looms over the creature, looks down at him, and goes, "Hello, little one. Aren't you very cute? We've come here to dominate this land, and we would wonder if you would like to help us, because otherwise it would not end well for you. But
Threatening them already.
He was just trying to be friendly.
Does anyone want to interject at all?
Kato pushes his way out of the cave as he can hear Cal talking, and it's like, shit, I need to hurry. before this turns to blood, and comes out and says, "Greetings, greetings! Please excuse my friend here. She is not the most well-mannered. You are Sootscale, I think I heard you say?
Yes.
I'm Cato Sicarius.
Welcome to our humble home, Cato. And I guess, could everybody give me a sense motive check really quickly?
I would love nothing more.
Except for Ione.
I trust him.
I trained that.
They're real good or they're real bad today. There's no middle ground. Okay. So Arcturus, Cato, both of you, as the conversation is going on, you can see the dark-scaled one, who's clearly like in much better regalia than the rest of the kobolds. Probably the leader of the tribe is very put off by the fact that, not necessarily about violence against, like, from the tall folk, a la Kalira, but that his shaman cut him off like that, and he's kind of just taking to glowering in the direction of the shaman. Said shaman moves forward, "Yes, we are very, very pretty kobolds, aren't we? As I'm sure great, powerful Chief Sootscale would tell you." And Tartuk turns over in the direction of the chief and makes big, flowery bows. "When the mites took that which is sacred to us, our statue of old Sharptooth, it displeased the god. We have tried sacrifices to Sharptooth. We have made prayers. We have made offerings. The spirits speak to me, and they say the only way we can appease old Sharptooth is by running the mites from these lands once and for all, and regaining our statue."
And that creature that I ran into at the entrance of your cave, within the behind the bars, is that one of these mites?
"Yes, that's one of the things there. We caught him out raiding the other day, brought him back here. Not sure what we're going to do with him yet. Perhaps he will be the next sacrifice."
Maybe speak with him.
"If you must."
It could be helpful in.
How long has he been in there?
A day or so, little more.
He looks very worse for wear. He doesn't look like he'll hold up much longer.
He'll be fine. And if he's not, we just sacrifice him to Sharptooth. Am I right, my brothers and sisters?" And Tartuk turns around in the direction of the other kobolds, who begin, like, beating spears against shields and roaring.
Do you have any idea why they took this idol?
"Well, you see, the little ones, they are known for petty thievery. See a thing that is shiny, take it back, put it in the pile, find another thing that is shiny. It's just in their nature, I suppose. They know not the ways of old Sharptooth."
Where was it? How did they come to take it?
"Raiding in the night, like the cowards they are."
So you're telling us that they were able to steal it right from under your noses, and you couldn't stop them?
"We are not proud of this, but I would tell you no lies."
That's incredible.
Where was the statue kept exactly?
"I could show you if you would like."
I would like that.
My
Is it nearby?
"It's..." and Tartuk nods back inside his cave. "A little cramped in there for the tall folk, but I would be happy to lead you."
This is
Kalira,
the chieftain speaking, right? Is this the
No.
chieftain, or is this...
This is the shaman.
That's, yeah.
Or the shaman, I mean. Shaman's talking, sorry, yes.
Kalira is, after grinding her teeth for a little bit, because she got cut off for no reason. Look
You
down
cut me
at
off.
would look down at a suit scale and go. So let me understand this. You sacrifice these smite. To Sharptooth.
They nod.
And Sharptooth is your dragon god?
Yes! Once was mighty kobold!
Oh, he elevated himself, did he? I see. But he is no longer with you?
No, he resides now in the beyond! And as Tarchuk says this, he snaps his fingers. I guess quick spellcraft checks from anybody who has it. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay, so Arcturus is not, despite having just cast the spell, Arcturus is taken up in the pomp and circumstance, I suppose. But Ionia is just barely there in such a way that, like, as Tartuk is describing the great beyond, he snaps his fingers and casts light, and then snaps again to, like, turn it off. He's trying to sell himself as being, pardon the use of phrase, but bigger than he actually is, I suppose.
And could you describe to me the particulars of this sacrifice?
Of course! We take them to the altar, we lay them down, and Tartuk has a little tiny sickle, and he draws it and makes a big swinging motion through the air, and like a pull after.
So you spill the blood.
And Sharptooth is pleased, yes!
I'm pretty disturbed by this line of questioning.
I see. This is all very interesting, little one. I will take note, and I will remember this for later. All right? And then I back away.
All right, Del, you're no longer a suspect for being the evil one.
Thank you.
She's she's smiling, but she's very angry. She's like staring daggers at this shaman guy.
Ionia raises an eyebrow at Kalira and then turns back to the chieftain and shaman and asks, can you give me more details about this curse? How does it afflict you?
In many ways. Sometimes our scales, when we die, they turn yellow. I still have that sacrifice still sits on the altar, unfortunately. Sometimes our teeth fall out. Sometimes we just get unlucky in battle.
These all sound like hygiene problems.
Could be solved by simply brushing teeth, but instead we blame the gods.
Makes sense. She nods her head.
You wanted to see where the sacrifices were made, yes? You want to see our altar?
I didn't realize that's where the sacrifices are made, but I suppose that is what I asked. Let's...
Okay. If anyone wants to follow, for the sake of time, I'll just grab tokens and move them.
Yeah, that's fine.
I would go with her, just to watch over her.
Artie's going in. Kato said here.
I would
How's
Yep.
the
probably
ceiling in here?
Okay.
I would probably say that while the shaman is showing the altar, that I would stay out with the chieftain to chat
Okay.
about other.
Works for me. So I'm hearing
I guess as a martial character, I should probably go with Ionia and Arcturus. Well, you got the other barbarian.
If I was gonna go in, but yeah, if he's staying out there, fine.
Okay. So, like I told Kato, as you guys move in, especially, not like mechanically especially, but especially in Senia's case, carrying that big reach weapon, these tunnels are real small. As you duck around and things, you guys put your feet down on ground that gives way a little bit. Very clearly, it's a trap door that has been pulled shut in such a way that, like, you won't in the dark stumble over.
So as they're heading in, I would say to the ash scale,
Soot scale.
soot scale.
Come on.
I'm gonna get this. That may I have a word with you while they go look at the altar?
Of course, tall folk. He turns and nods.
See, the crawl space is just too dirty for Kato. Like, he tried to go in there, it was a crawl space. He's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not getting my cape dirty. So he's gonna
All
stay
about
out.
the cape.
That cape, man, I'm telling you, it's All right. I don't know if you want to do them first or me first.
I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. No, we'll do Kato first because Kato spoke up first.
Okay.
It'll give Ionia time to write the very big, long works of prose that she gives us, so that way no one has to follow her. We'll do that one.
So
I am still very impressed. Also, I'll say
This
that.
one was pretty short, to be fair.
Okay.
So where are these mites located? Where are they holed up?
The chieftain has it's real clear that it's just like the leg bone of some smaller creature, but he's wielding it like a club, and there are like it's been reinforced with like bits of metal brackets so it doesn't just like break when he whaps somebody with it, and he points that club in the direction of the enormous sycamore tree. The mites live under that.
Under it?
He nods.
Like tunnels, caverns?
Bit of both, I assume.
Has your people made any approaches on their tree?
In terms of battle, yes.
Yes. And so far no success in retrieving your relic, I assume.
He shakes his head no.
What kind of opposition have you met there?
Mites.
What? Okay. Numbers. Are there many of them?
About as many as us. We are made from dragon. The mite is made from... well, if you will follow me. And the chieftain makes his way back into the cave towards the prisoner cage.
Okay.
Good thing I'm not there, because I feel like this is going to get dark.
The chieftain reaches his hand into the cage. His hands are clawed. The mite is like, it tries to pull back, but the chief is able to grab him, and he grabs a little too hard with the claws pointed into the wrist of the mite. And as the chieftain withdraws his hand, there are no visible marks on the mite at all. They are made of... I do not know what. Our weapons do not pierce their flesh easily.
Interesting. Can I... I'm going to pull my... Do you mind? I'm going to pull my dagger and ask the chieftain, do you mind?
Wait, Kato, before you do that, there might be a slightly simpler way to determine. They do spill their blood on their altar. I mean, how are you able to spill their blood?
The power of our chief. And sometimes if you push hard enough, well, anything is possible.
Yeah, they're just tougher skinned.
He nods.
Mind if we head back out?
Of course. I suppose it is a little cramped for you. Oh. And he actually makes that noise as he starts making his way out of the cave.
Since we are talking about that ritual, curious, whose idea was it? The shaman's?
Of course. He is our divine connection to old Sharptooth.
I see. And I wonder, how did one get to be so divinely inspired?
The chief shrugs his shoulders. I do not speak for the gods.
I see. And if Sharptooth decided that perhaps maybe another is more suited to the task, maybe even someone taller, prettier, what would you say?
The gods work in mysterious ways, human.
Certainly they do. All right.
So, chieftain, I cannot promise anything now without speaking to my companions, but should we decide to help you with this little problem, I take it you would be grateful?
I would.
Good to know.
What? I'm not gonna mention the Stag Lord or any of that. I mean, I'm outside the cave, so you can't hear my anger. Out of character.
Out of character. Get your shit together, Kato.
Yeah.
All right.
In character, I guess I'm the GM. I'm always in character, but I'll move the might token and make it a little bigger so Ionia can see it. That's a might.
Whoa!
Oh, thank you.
It's very spoopy, and now it's gonna shrink back down and go back in its box.
As my companion here so inelegantly stated earlier, we are currently traveling these lands, taming them, and colonizing to create a great kingdom here. Allies and those that would be willing to, be vessels of our land would certainly be welcome. Should we help you in this endeavor, we would likely request aid and that favor to be repaid in the future.
Of course.
Do kobolds honor such things?
If you can help my tribe, I will honor whatever it is you ask me to honor.
All right, we can cut to.
And
Sure,
cut to
now,
the
if you
people
want.
in the house. Okay, so to the flavor text.
Was
Away!
that better, Esker?
Much better.
I
Rather than just awkwardly
I was-
being like, okay.
I was getting there. I just was trying to figure out what I was going to ask for.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So you guys are led, and again, like I said, it's real close quarters in a lot of places here. There are some kobolds that are set up at what are clearly guard posts and things. Eventually, you're led to a part of the cave where the walls have been smeared with what appears to be like charcoal and blood. They depict multiple representations in red and black of a knowledge religion check, actually, if you would.
Oh, come on.
Woof.
wow, you two are just double ones. Love it.
Of what very clearly must be this old sharp-toothed figure. There are two, basically right to the left and right of where Senia's token ended up, two low stone tables of Santa Claus, yes, sitting on the room, one of which is blood-stained. There is a mite laying, now I'll say in the time it's taken, the body has been removed and has been taken somewhere else. Presently, the tables are both empty.
This is where the statue was kept.
Yes, right here. And Tartuk taps the table that isn't bloodstained.
I would like to. This is gonna sound weird. Bear with me.
Welcome to
I'd
Pathfinder.
like to spend some time touching the table.
Oh,
As we're trying to do that sweet object reading, I believe.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, sure. Tartuk does not stop you.
Just for RP reasons, I'm not just like awkwardly touching it. I'll be kind of like feeling around, looking for engravings, things.
caressing it. Nice, gentle.
Okay.
Gently caressing it, trying to seduce the table.
And
Can I
she's
ask
actually
a
playing a bard?
Can I ask a question
Yeah, sure.
while she's fondling the table?
And
Um,
as that's happening, several kobolds come like running up to see what's going on.
How long have you been conducting sacrifices?
It is our way, human. Wait, I'm getting my kobolds mixed up. It is our way, human. We appease Old Sharptooth. Old Sharptooth brings us glory in battle.
And by any chance, are you often sacrificing mites?
When we get them, yes. Lately more, since they've stolen the statue of our lord.
More since they've stolen it.
He nods.
I see.
Old Sharptooth is a very, very fickle deity. Sometimes he asks for our old and weak. Sometimes he only asks for a deer.
How do you learn of what he's asking for?
He speaks to me.
And how does Sharptooth speak to you?
Can I sense motive on that?
Yeah, sure. And also, I guess while we're doing that, the object reading gives you nothing on the, like... Well, there you go. Gives you nothing on the table or, like, had there been anything of any real significance sitting on it. And with your sense motive, I will make a secret GM roll. I'm not a big fan of secret GM rolls, but when it's opposed by a bluff check. And drum roll, please.
I'm sorry, one more time.
I said, drum roll, please. Okay, so you have, I'll say that you met the DC. So it's pretty clear that Tartuk is just kind of talking out his hind end. You were raised in a temple where, like, people spoke to divine entities on a pretty regular basis. Maybe this old Sharptooth figure, maybe, has some sort of different set of requirements / demands, but it seems much more likely that Tartuk is just... I guess the best way to say it is Tartuk is just using his people. You're not sure why, but he seems to be like the real power behind the throne.
Yeah, I mean, that much was clear the moment he started talking before the chief.
Mm-hmm. And now with the sense motive, you can, like, something's up.
And then
Okay, I'll kind of...
then he presented the chieftain after he was done speaking and about how magnificent he was. It's so, like, playing to like appeasing him. Yeah, the whole thing just smells fishy.
Mm-hmm.
You're not in this cave. Get out of here.
Sorry.
I look at him somewhat suspiciously, and I look back at Arcturus and kind of give him this look like, this guy's full of shit.
I just nod.
Okay.
I have one other trick I think I would like to try. Let me look over it real quick and see if it'll actually do it.
Remind me again how subtle, like, sense evil is.
If you were to cast Detect Evil, everybody around you would get a DC 15 spellcraft check on the first.
Okay.
So, like, everyone will know you are doing a magic thing. What magic thing you are doing will depend on the result of rolls.
Gotcha. Probably not. Yeah, well, I'm literally surrounded, so it's probably not good.
The kobolds are armed.
Yeah.
I'd like to detect psychic significance in this room as well.
Okay.
So she's fine with casting spells surrounded by...
Yeah, I guess
kobolds.
on that note.
Yeah, but if let's say they are evil and they see I'm detecting evil, they're gonna be like, "What's going on? What's wrong, buddy?"
Yeah, I mean, I'm investigating. If they want to ask me about it, they can feel free to.
So you don't pick up anything, like, definitively of psychic significance. I'm still reading how the spell works. Spell doesn't automatically detect magic items, strong line items, though. Okay, so this would be... Yeah, you don't
Basically,
really get... Go ahead.
What I'm trying to do here is see if the table resonates as having actually held the statue that they're talking.
It does not.
I'm gonna turn to Tartuk and I'm gonna say, how long ago was this statue?
Tartuk, as you're casting, he looks at you and, yes, I see! Psychic magic! Surely! And Tartuk turns in the direction of all the kobolds that are arrayed around you guys. Surely! She is also touched by the gods! Yes, am I right, brothers and sisters?
I look at him a little confused, and I say, I was raised in the Temple of Abadar. I'm sure my father and my companion here, and I'll motion towards Artoris, have gained his favor doing what they do, and as one of his followers and a follower to, again, Artoris here and my father as well, I imagine I probably have gained some of his favor, yes.
Makes sense.
Did I say Artoris instead of Abadar?
You might have.
Oh!
Ah, yes! The human god of cities and trade. Tartuk nods.
You're familiar?
I am.
With that role, he's familiar.
He's very familiar.
I love how knowledge can be determined by a d20. I love it.
Yeah. You know all the things or none of the things, and nothing in between.
Either you're dumb as a doorstop, or you're like a scholar in
you're-
all things worldly.
Omniscient. Ah, but yes, you asked about the statue. It's been a while now. There have been many sacrifices made, yet nothing seems to appease old Sharptooth. And Tartuk points at the blood and charcoal smear that seems to depict a large kobold. Nothing will appease him but his statue. And to do this, well, the mites. Tartuk does the thumbs up, turns it 90 degrees towards his neck, then brings it across his neck. You understand.
I believe I catch your meaning. You had told Artoris that you were sacrificing the mites to Sharptooth since before the statue went missing.
He nods.
Leave it alone.
Have they done anything prior to taking the statue that may have upset you?
From time to time.
Tell me about that.
We've never been the best of friends, you see. The mites, they enjoy the stealing of small, shiny things, and we are dragon. We enjoy the gathering of small, shiny things. Nature has put us at odds, it would seem.
I see another situation here where you could potentially help one another, though I understand it hasn't played out that way.
Yes.
I mean, if they like to take shiny things and you like to collect shiny things, perhaps you could strike a deal with them that they steal shiny things from other places and bring them to you, in exchange for maybe not sacrificing them. Is that something you would be comfortable considering?
We could certainly try. I am worried the mites would not listen, and in any case, when old Sharptooth demands we make sacrifices, he again turns to his assembled congregation. Old Sharptooth must be pleased.
I give him a disingenuous smile and I say, I understand. I think I have all the information I need. I'd like to talk with the rest of my party, if you don't.
Of course! Please, brothers, sisters, let them go! And this kobold moves over to give you guys space. Does anybody else want to do anything in this room? I realize it's super cramped. I can just grab you guys and move you out. Okay.
I'm just there as potential protection, so
Makes sense to me. Okay. And back you guys come. Tartuk does not follow you. None of the other kobolds follow you. The kobolds outside have taken to breaking out more moon radishes.
Oh.
The chieftain has one in his hand. Ah, yes. The finest moon radishes in the Stolen Lands. You want a bite, human? Really helps take the edge off. Takes another bite.
So is everyone out of the cave now?
Yeah.
I
Unless someone would like to not be.
respectfully, I raise my hand and I say, with respect, I think we're good. I would let's my companions and I are going to discuss amongst ourselves for a moment, if you don't mind.
Of course.
And I gesture everyone to come away from the cave.
Okay.
So we can speak in private.
The chief turns towards his soldiers who are rapidly overindulging and says something loud in Draconic that you probably assume means, hey, stop overindulging. And they stop. And all of them go back inside the cave. One of them only goes, like, you can hear one of them stop and turn. The sentry, basically.
Kato turns to Ionia as the group gathers and asks her, so what did you find in there?
Well, not really much of anything. They've got a room that seems to be a shrine. The pedestal where they told me the statue was kept shows no real indication of having, at least recently, held the statue they talk about. Their shaman seems to be completely full of shit. I'm not sure if they're worshipping a false deity or if he's just a false prophet, but I don't...
I look very uneasy as you're saying that, as I look to make sure there's no kobolds standing.
Oh yeah, I'd be whispering this. I'm talking loudly so you guys can hear, but
right.
Yeah.
I know. I just, in character, I quickly turn, like, as you say that, even quietly, I kind of, like, spin around just to make sure that there's no eavesdroppers as we're discussing.
No kobolds have followed you outside the cave, but there's definitely one standing in there as a sentry right now.
So, yeah, it seems like the major problem they have with the mites is that they like to take their things. They like to take shinies. Kobolds like to have shinies. I suggested to them that maybe we could discuss with the mites a new situation where perhaps they could be a little more at peace with one another and basically, utilize the mites' propensity for finding shiny objects, and instead of taking them to, their own place, whatever, bring them back here to the kobolds. Perhaps they could live together. I don't know.
You really think that the mites would steal things just to give them away?
Well, I mean, my thought is maybe if they could form a community between the two of them, kind of a what's mine is yours type situation. It would take time. It's not a perfect idea, but
a community of thieves.
Yeah, I see a few glaring weaknesses in this strategy.
Where do you think they get the shiny things from?
Currently from the kobolds.
And where do you think the kobolds get them from?
Who knows?
Did you see any craftsmen in their cave?
There's a lot of shiny things in the world.
Do you think the mites only steal from the kobolds?
We don't know what the mites do at all. We haven't spoken with.
And all I'm saying is, if they are stealing anyways, then perhaps they can form an alliance here
and just rob this entire land blind. Sounds good.
I mean, my current theory is that the shaman is probably, and I didn't get the chance to test this because we were surrounded by people, but I have a strong suspicion that the shaman is pure evil and is basically committing,
heresy,
murder
in the name of some kind of dragon that may or may not even exist.
Well,
didn't the shaman also say that they've been sacrificing mites before the statue was stolen? So perhaps the mites stole the statue to
try and stop the sacrifice.
Oh,
try and stop it.
That was definitely the impression I got as well.
I guess if Arcturus could make a sense motive check. Yeah, Onia and Senia can as well. anyone who was in the cave. Never mind, we're good. We got the number. Got the one we needed. We didn't need that one at all. Yeah, no, Arcturus is real. Like, he was not able to stop and be like, this person might be evil and horrible. But, like, it's really clear that through the use of some kind of either magic or forewarning or something like that, Tartuk made sure that the odds were in his favor when you guys were in the cave like that. It probably indicates that everything Arcturus is saying is at least accurate.
What do you mean the odds were in his favor?
When there
He
were
surrounded us with armed guards, right? While we
7
were standing.
kobolds and himself, yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
like if we were to turn to combat.
He would easily skewer you all in an instant.
Or if somebody were to call him out, basically.
Right.
Right. Hence why I did not do that in there.
So while you were in there, I spoke to the chieftain, got some interesting readings off of him. So he is clearly exasperated right now. The fact that he's requesting our help in this, he seems very almost desperate for help at this point. If your suspicions are true that this shaman is sort of the one manipulating, perhaps he feels like he is losing control of his own tribe. Just speculation, but he was very eager and almost desperate for our help at this when I was speaking with him.
The impression I got was very much so that the shaman has played these people, has put himself in a position of power over the chieftain and just kind of pays lip service.
Have we considered that perhaps the shaman, if with enough time, is perhaps going to decide that the chieftain is the next sacrifice?
Well, I don't think they've been sacrificing kobolds. Hopefully.
Oh, they
point.
did say that. They did.
Mm-hmm.
They did say the sick and the old.
Oh, the second, yeah. I mean, that would probably even if this
here's my thing. You all seem very righteous and all, and your moral compasses are all very straight. They point very north. It's all very impressive. The talk of lies and the usurping of power is all very boring. But here's what I know. I know that, and she kind of turns her shoulder to Ionia, even though she can clearly hear. Magic users who use blood are things that need to be destroyed. I'm not going to sit by and knowingly allow some bastard to keep spitting blood in the name of some useless deity.
But when you spill blood, it's okay.
When I spill blood, it's for a purpose. It is not for my own to become stronger. I became stronger because of those like him. I became stronger to protect myself.
All I'm saying is let's not be so quick to judge the people based on the actions of their leader.
I'm not judging the people. I'm judging him.
Well, then
Now you can sit there on your ivory tower in your beautiful little land that you came from. But where I came from, when people take blood, they do not stop. Not because of some accord, of some peace. They use that too.
You do realize I'm from Port Ice, right? It's not exactly a lovely place.
You grew up in a temple. I've heard you say it many times.
Yes, I grew up in a temple of Abadar in a city of pirates and thugs.
Yeah, it sounds far safer than the slums of First Stuff, I have to say. I wish I grew up there. I'm very jealous
I'm
of you.
sure you would love it. You'd fit right in.
Oh my
Anyways,
god.
I don't think we're disagreeing, Cal.
Are you two gonna come to blows? This would be great.
I'd have to agree with
I was actually being honest. I think Cal would really love Fordyce.
I'd have to agree with Cal's thinking here. I know something of a blood feud, and anyone that uses blood for magic is not good in my.
I mean, is there anybody here who's disagreeing that the shaman has problems?
No,
Wait
of
till they
course
see
not.
me cast Barb Chains.
No, of course not. But here's the thing. They've already. I talked to the chief too. Kato seemed to have completely ignored this part, but the chief doesn't seem very high on him either. It seems like an easy solution to this problem to remove.
I would warn against that, although we do seem to have the chieftain's favor at this moment. It is very likely, with the armed posse that the shaman travels with and the fanfare that they give him when he performs his magic tricks, that many of these kobolds are likely very loyal sycophants.
Yeah, they are easily impressed. I saw him do something with the light. Can't you both do something like that? I mean, I have a lantern. It's not that bad.
No, but what I'm saying is, don't underestimate the blind loyalty that these types of folk can have towards their spiritual leader. Even if he is corrupt, even if he is, as Ionia put it, full of shit, they are likely to defend him, protect him, venerate him, and anyone who opposes him is likely to be seen as an enemy. Remember that. We are dealing with a spiritual leader regardless of their validity.
Yeah, so
Right.
so it's a competition of who's the best bullshitter. That's what it sounds like to me.
Right. This will not be an issue of we go in there and simply kill the shaman. It's going to require some stealth. It's going to require some.
I'm not even thinking we should bother. Here's in my speaks with the chieftain, although perhaps we can examine the power struggle between the two at a later time. He has agreed that if we were to assist his tribe or his group in this effort, that he would honor our help in assisting us in our goal of taming these stolen lands. We would have allies against our enemies here, which I think is a great deal.
I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility to pick up 2 allies. Admittedly, we haven't spoken to the mites yet. I think if the source of antagonism is this shaman and his sacrificial,
imagine if we can. So this shaman seems to have these kobolds wrapped around his finger. Why can't we use that?
What do you
Why depose someone? Why depose someone who we could use as a liaison to?
Because we would two allies instead of 1.
And he's clearly untrustworthy.
And there's also the chieftain.
That's true.
I think we'd be better off serving the rightful leader of these people.
Sure, but don't you think it's a little, I don't know, not saying like we shouldn't interfere in, the organized structure of this community, but like
Are you talking about it?
What right do we have to come in and demand a change in leadership for a community that we know very little about?
We're not demanding a change in leadership. The leadership belongs to the chieftain. The current social political structure of this community is not ours to meddle with. We are not gods. We do not come in and say, you're corrupt, you're out. We don't instill, we don't alter the political landscape of communities we enter.
You're literally trying to build a kingdom here.
Exactly.
Right.
That's exactly what we're trying to do. Is this the kind of thing you are going to allow in your...
All I'm saying is that it's fairly pretentious to come into a community we have just met and already start forming plans to remove a member of their leadership.
Is it pretentious when we were asked to help?
We were asked to help with their might problem. Now we can agree to help them recover their relic,
We
or
were
we can
asked to
decline.
help.
Well,
We can try to broker an alliance between the two communities. We can see where that goes. There are many things that we can do, but scheming after having just met these people, scheming about removing, their spiritual leader because we believe he is corrupt without proof. Also, by the way, we have lots of suspicion, sure, and a lot of reason to believe he is corrupt and that he is manipulating, but we don't have proof. So any talk about, as you mentioned, we'll have to use stealth. We'll have to be careful. Why are we even discussing this at this moment? What you're basically insinuating is the removal of a spiritual leader figure without proof because of suspicion.
That's a fair point.
It's not.
well,
I have all the proof I need, dearie. And I pinch Kato on the cheek, but don't worry, I won't be scheming anything.
Now, should we
Well,
speak
no,
to
don't.
these mites and learn their side of the story? Should we recover this relic and more information be discovered? Then perhaps we can make a more rational decision on what to do. But right now we are literally just running off speculation.
Let's go get this relic.
My intuition's pretty strong when it comes to these things.
Sure, and I don't doubt your intuition. However, I function off evidence and proof, and until we have that, I'm not even going to entertain discussions about removing this shaman.
That's very nice, but you're one person among 5.
I mean, I do think Kato has a point. I don't believe that we are wrong, but it couldn't hurt to do more investigation. It couldn't hurt to look into this further, get the other side of the story. Ideally, it would be nice if we could have a very secluded private discussion with the chieftain, with the shaman nowhere near present. Though I don't know if that will easily be arranged.
No, we just had one.
But I think first things first, we need direct consent from the leader here before we take out their spiritual leader. That said, I do think,
Of course,
if they're going to be operating in our land, under our kingdom, we do need to do something about the situation eventually.
Sure. Try convincing the chieftain without proof that the shaman is.
The chieftain might not need convincing. The chieftain might have proof himself. He might just be too weak to say anything on his own.
And that would be the proof we need. All I'm saying is we need something beyond speculation, even if it is, really good intuition.
I think getting that something will be much more successful if we first have the relic in hand.
I mean, I'm still confused. So we have his open admission that he's actively sacrificing other sentient beings even before the thing was stolen, and you're over there saying we need proof that he's doing something bad before we do anything. Am I understanding that correctly? That's your position.
If that's their religion.
Sacrificing other sentient beings, if that's their religion, you're saying that's fine.
Oh, Kato, let me tell you about the good news of Gore. But I digress. Let's just go get the damn idol. Let's just table this for now. It doesn't really matter, does it? We're not going to move on it yet anyway, so we might as well get the idol and we can continue this discussion another time.
I'm quite eager to see this idol myself.
My suspicion is that it won't be magical in the slightest, and we're going to learn nothing that we don't already know.
For now, it's only a suspicion.
No, I don't think it's magical either, but it will be a card to play for whatever we decide to do about this chieftain, I believe.
Whether or not it's magical, it has historical and cultural significance, and that interests.
For all of the wrong reasons. An object being venerated by a maniac.
Once again, Vilmaya, me and you are of an accord. She winks at Vilmaya.
You say that, and then I instantly start reconsidering my position.
Well, shall we then?
So the plan is to head over to where the mites are holed up.
The tree, yeah.
Okay.
Is it? And you said there's kobolds.
Say that
watching
again.
us? Is the chieftain outside the entrance of the? Because he said there were some kobolds in the entrance of the cave. Is Is the chieftain or the
Just guards, I
shaman?
imagine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right now it's just one kobold that like is very clearly a sentry.
Oh, okay. Cool. All right.
So as we're passing by them, I'll say, please inform your chieftain that we are going to investigate the mite tree. We will return shortly.
Okay, I'm gonna roll percentage dice. The kobold has once again overindulged on moon radishes, but nods sluggishly. Okay, so
Amelia shakes her head.
I will. Boom. Unless anybody wants to do anything else, we can just kind of, a day passes and we'll jump to that map. There's not a whole lot of ground to cover between the old sycamore and where you guys are right now.
So I think Esther might be misunderstanding my objection. I don't agree.
You're gonna
with
retcon your objection, you mean?
No, I don't. It's not that I'm okay with blood sacrifice, even though, like I said, when I said, what if that's part of their religion? If removing the chieftain just makes them elect a new chieftain, which also does blood sacrifice, it's like we don't know if this is just common to their religion, in which case we're going to need to root out a much larger problem than just a corrupt chieftain. My big issue is the accusation that he is a phony baloney. Excuse my French, without the proof.
I will excuse your baloney. Okay. So about a day passes. About more like 10 hours pass. You guys will arrive outside the old sycamore as like afternoon is becoming evening, I'll say. And must flavor text. So, like I said, I'll run again because Calera wasn't here. Must be about 100 foot tall, just an enormous graying hulk of a sycamore tree. As you guys get a little closer, the nature of you, without having to roll, can tell that like this tree is clinging on to the last years of its life. As you approach from the Sootscale Caverns to here, you guys would cross also what Senia saw when Senia went out hunting, just like crossing a battlefield. Several dead kobolds, dead mites, all of them, like no matter what side they were on, they have been stripped of their gear and they just kind of lie out in the sun.
Well, they certainly weren't kidding.
There has very clearly been a lot of violence in the past few days. The floor is yours as you reach the tree, though. Nothing is happening right now. The tree is quiet, perhaps the occasional bird.
I guess I'd like to approach the tree and see if we can find a discernible entrance to whatever the kobolds described as where they lived.
Okay, sure. Give me a perception check if you would. So, Senia, you approach the tree. The tree is a mess of enormous, like the size of your arm, enormous roots that Tarzan their way all over the ground. And try as you might, that pun was not intended, but it wasn't horrible either. Try as you might, you can't find anything that would function as an entrance to anywhere.
We should probably fan out and
Do you think that's wise? We don't
holler if we see anything.
How about this? And Kalenia goes over and starts kicking the tree as hard as she can.
Okay. It hurts. You don't break your toe or anything. You don't full Viggo Mortensen, but you half Aragorn, I guess I'll say. The tree is very sturdy.
Yeah, I was just trying to knock.
Is it one of those types of like wood where it basically is so dense that it's like kicking like steel? Like birchwood or something, like something that's like super dense and hard.
I suppose I will quickly Google the density of a sycamore tree. In any case, it certainly doesn't move, and it probably doesn't feel the best, but nothing responds.
We should we should circle the tree.
This is where all the bodies were?
The bodies are in the hills between here and there.
Oh, okay, not like actually at the tree.
Yeah. Imagine the trenches of World War I, almost. You've crossed through the no man's land, and now you're here.
Cal will look around for maybe some blood. Maybe that'll...
Can I make a perception as well?
Yeah, if you would.
Grumble, grumble.
Grumble, grumble. It's the same for Kato. There's a lot of really, really big roots and things of that nature. Kalira, your toe hurts, and you're hungry for porridge. As you are wont to do. In any case, neither of you find anything. Neither does Arcturus.
The mysteries of this tree.
Perhaps Ionia will say something?
And it's Ionia! Okay, so as you
Was
guys are...
Was it a DC 20?
It was a DC 20, yeah. So as you guys are looking around Ionia, you do eventually find it's really, really, really cramped. But there's a shaft where the roots of the tree run down and something has dug out. You could probably use the roots as some sort of a pseudo rope to climb down. There's no, I will be generous. The sun happens to be right behind you. You can see down, it's about like a 10-foot drop into a really small and cramped cavern. Nothing looks back up at you.
It doesn't seem wise to go into a space that small. Might be hard to get out of.
Kato pushes Ionia down the hole.
Woof.
Just kidding. Kidding.
I'm just gonna call into it. Hello, mates? Are you home?
They try to reply back. Does anybody speak Undercommon?
No.
Oh, someone must. God damn it.
Undercommon. Not common.
Undercommon.
Nope.
Basically, it kind of sounds like pseudo common adjacent, I guess. I will say some of the I don't know how English works. Some of the words sound kind of similar, but mostly it's just you hear the sounds of something clicking.
I'm unfamiliar with your language, friends. Do you speak common?
And after that, there's another clicking sound, but it's much louder, and you hear the sounds of something metallic hitting the roots, and then a sad, and then there's a click again.
Cal goes, it just seems like negotiations have come to an end, and she kind of pulls Iona back. I don't like that sound that thing is making. You might want to give it a berth.
I'll step back, but let's not be so quick to.
Kato draws his sword.
Oh, come on.
That's
I'm
just
saying,
out of
let's not be so quick
caution.
If they come out and we look hostile, they're much more likely to attack than if we look like.
And if they come out with sharp, pointy objects, I want to have my sharp, pointy object at the ready.
Yes, and yours is probably bigger too, isn't it?
It's always bigger. No, I'm drawing.
Didn't one of the kobolds specifically say something about looking threatening? When we passed by the first time, or am I imagining that?
The kobold said they weren't likely to attack us.
Like they weren't going to venture out and attack us, from their hidey hole, but still.
That doesn't mean that he can't attack us from their hidey hole. That's my concern.
It's true.
they do.
Kato sighs and says, "We can stand out here all day, or we have a relic to."
No,
to
I
go
say we
get."
go in.
Yeah, we're going in.
If they don't want us in there, what gives us the right to go in there? Remind.
They have the relic
might.
we promised to get.
We didn't. No, we promised to investigate it.
Look into it.
Oh well, I might have.
It's very impolite to barge into somebody's home uninvited.
These things are all very true.
I feel
Cal
like you
says,
know that coming from Rostov, Kato.
I'm aware, but this is a
So,
difference. It's not like we're barging into someone's like house. These are
Again, to be clear, we have established that these people were being sacrificed ritualistically by the people we were just. They may or may not have stolen an object that we heavily suspect is not actually magically significant at all, but instead was being, falsely venerated to excuse murder, ritualistic murder. And you want to barge in hostile, swords drawn, because of that.
I'm with Arcturus here. I think these are more likely the
aggrieved parties.
We don't know.
Here.
Quite the assumptions we're making here.
You would be making an even greater one, barging in with your sword drawn, trying to find the idol to return it without any, consideration of the actual situation we're in.
Okay. This is getting ridiculous. We're not going to be able to breach any sort of accord with these things because we don't speak their language. So here is your options. We could either leave and forget we even came here, or we could find someone to translate.
I like the idea of finding a translator. There are also other ways to communicate.
Yes, let's communicate with drawings and sign language.
Is that seriously less desirable than just bursting in and cutting them down and taking an object back to a or a psychopath? There you go, T.
Well,
I mean, we have a community which speaks our language, which has sworn to help us in our campaign if we help them, and then we have rival faction which we can't communicate with, who, like, we would be giving up a lot to. I mean, I was all for coming out here and seeing if we could talk with them and seeing if there was a way to reach an accord, but none of us can understand what they're saying. They don't seem to be able to understand what we're saying. There's a war going on right now, as you can clearly tell by the bodies strewn about. We either throw our flag in with the kobolds, or we walk away from the situation.
Or we try and communicate in other ways or find a translator. I bet that goblin probably speaks Undercommon.
That's what I was thinking as well.
Do you remember where we are on the map, guys? We are like 5 days away from the goblin.
Mm-hmm.
I remember.
But genocide sounds better.
Yeah. Why should we take 10 days of our time when we could just kill all these people? Good point, Kate. I'm once again suspecting you are evil.
I'm gonna try calling down in Orc this time, and basically saying the same thing, something along the lines of, "Hello, friends. Do any of you speak?" And I'll list the languages that I speak: Common, Orc, Arataki. I have a couple others that I have not chosen. I should do that.
Oh, look, I do speak Undercommon.
In any case, you all the languages you throw them down, and you are met with "Nyah!" and the sound of something metallic clinking against the roots of the tree. On that note, also for the record, really, really quickly, this is not the GM trying to like point anyone in a certain sort of direction, but it would take you 16 hours round trip on horseback from where you are right now to get to Bakken's hut.
Oh, that's not even that bad.
Yeah. That's
Kato.
assuming
He
everyone
would
is
call
moving.
it 5 days.
That's assuming
So,
everyone's moving at a party speed of 50 feet. 30 feet
What if-
is a little closer to.
What if one of us goes picks him up and he can ride on the horse? Because I seem to remember we saw a goblin ride with a human on a horse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
in the same way that like Frodo and Gandalf could share a horse. A small creature could get in front of you on a medium creature on a large creature. Combat on the horse would be awkward, but you could transport each other.
I'm not exactly sure how linguistics works. Is that something I can roll to try to pick up on different sounds that they make or what it might mean or anything?
Mostly linguistics is for like forgeries or to know what language a thing is in. You know it's undercommon because I needed to. Hey, does anyone speak undercommon?
So I should at the very least roll linguistics so that my character knows it's undercommon.
Yeah,
hopefully.
yeah, that's fair. Yep, that's undercommon. Normally famous, if not infamous, probably more infamous as the language of creatures that live in the Darklands. Think the Drow, the Druger, things like that. Basically, you live underground. You live in an entirely different culture, and you have twisted common into this.
Well, do we want to go pick up, see if Bakken wants to come with us, or what do we want to do?
Of course.
It's
Possible he doesn't speak undercommon, but we're just sort of assuming that. But he seemed like a pretty well-traveled individual.
I guess whoever goes can ask. So
If nothing else, he may have a potion that might be able to help us. I don't know.
He's a small, squat-looking creature. They're small, squat-looking creatures. They probably speak the same language.
I don't think that's quite how that works.
Isn't it?
Well, considering that goblins speak goblin and these creatures seem to be speaking undercommon, no.
Oh, so you think that the goblins only speak one language because the one we just met spoke at least two?
This seems like Senya should get going. She seems like the obvious choice.
Okay. I believe I've kind of lost track of the baggage train. I think we have one horse. In which case...
definitely my horse.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody else brought any of their horses.
Yeah, I thought we had two horses from the first
Yes.
group of bandits.
Okay, got you. I wasn't entirely sure what became of those horses. In any case, the horses are the way to get this done faster. So
Are we sure we want to send Senya completely on her own? Should one of us go with her?
I think Ionia and Arcturus should go with her.
No.
I don't like the idea of leaving you and Cal alone together.
What? The three of you are the slowest on foot, but you guys are just as fast on a horse, and
No. She's
Cal and
used
I
to
will-
doing solo missions. I don't have any reservations
Since
about
I'm
it.
kind of socially awkward, I'd rather have Ionia as the more diplomatic one with me in case I'm not able to convince Bakken of either coming with us or maybe making a potion, and then the other voice of reason should probably stay with you.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Okay. So Ionia and Senya take off in the direction of Bakken's hut. What do I guess Arcturus and Cal and Cato, you'll have all told, as I get a final guesstimation of it's 5 hours there, and then you're about in the middle of the hex, so we'll just put them in the middle and say like 3. So it'll be about 16 hours back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
If the three of you want to do anything, go anywhere, if there's anywhere you'd like to like set up camp.
Well, what time of day is it right now?
They are riding off into the night. It's
Yeah,
like
might as well
afternoon is
might as well
becoming
set up
evening.
camp.
Would it make more sense for us to camp tonight and leave first thing in the morning?
Probably.
If you're scared of the dark.
Do you want to drive?
I'm less concerned about the dark and more concerned about not being exhausted.
Yeah, let's set up camp. Leaving first thing in the morning. That'll get you back by the evening.
And the rest of you can just kind of have a day to pal around and talk ethics.
And not kill any mites at all. Okay, so the night passes. Whoever is on watch, I'll say a couple hours into the first watch, about 6 mites leave the old sycamore. There's enough terrain here that you guys could very easily set up your camp somewhere where they wouldn't immediately see you, and they kind of just head south in the direction of the soot scales.
Uh,
I imagine one of the 3 that are staying are probably on watch. Senya and I are probably sleeping.
That makes sense to me.
yeah. Cal's gonna go follow him.
Okay. Do you want to do so quietly?
Yeah.
Okay, make a stealth check. Alrighty. How is my perception? Am I good at it? I don't know. Whoops.
Can the rest of us roll perception to see if Cal sneaking off wakes us?
Cal, are you trying to hide your presence from the party as you go to sneak off?
No.
Okay. Then it wakes up. I guess we'll say everybody. Certainly whoever would be next at watch. So we'll let the party before the mites if they want to try to stop them.
I mean, I'd probably rather roll since I was asleep. It feels a little unfair to just say, oh, I wake up.
Sure, fair enough.
Nope, I'm asleep.
Fair enough. Kato's super awake. Kato is wound for sound.
So as he's sneaking away, I will run up behind him and be like, "Where are you going, friend?" I haven't seen the mites, by the way, at this point.
Okay, sure.
Mites. I'm following mites.
Oh.
Arcturus, you hear the commotion as well? And so does Senia. Meanwhile, in Ionia's sleeping bag. Z.
Did Arcturus
Alright.
pass?
All right, yeah. So, why? Why are you following them?
Do I need to? Because I want to. Because I want to see what they're doing. It's not obvious.
Well, they're looking in the direction of like where I guess what's her name?
Ionia.
No. Where Kalir was heading. And then I look over just to like kind of line of sight to see where what she was following, like, and figure out that that's the direction of the Soot Scale tribe. Like, clearly they're heading towards the Soot Scales there.
Probably another raid.
That's exactly why.
Maybe for good reason.
It doesn't matter what the reasons are. I'm just going to see what they do. Now,
Why don't we
can all
send
go back to
someone
sleep.
who's actually more stealthy and less likely to cause a problem?
I'll go with Cal.
I had maybe Senya in mind.
I also want to see.
Cause a problem. What problems have I caused you?
I just have a bad feeling about you, if I'm being honest.
Well, that is extremely unfair.
Arcturus.
Is that what your god teaches you?
If you can't
Unfairness.
if you can't trust your companions, who can you trust?
Don't give me that out of character. Don't give me that tone. Okay. In character, I just glare at you.
Abaddon. Prejudgment. Interesting. All right. Well, I'm off.
Yeah, you're not stopping them, so
If you two cause trouble, we're gonna have an issue.
have trouble. Don't worry, we're only observing.
Okay.
I go back to the camp.
Then I suppose if I could also get a stealth check from Kato.
Yeah.
Okay. Kato is a leaf on the wind.
If they see me, or if they see us, it won't be because of me.
You guys start following him. They get, as you guys are deliberating, they get a little bit of a head start on you, but it's not hard to like pick up their trail and find them. They're not being particularly quiet. But it's, as you guys get probably within about 100 feet of them or so, Cal, your sword hangs up on like a little bush and makes a noise. The rustling is enough that a couple of the mites turn, and you can only like half hear them chittering at their fellows, and they all kind of like turn and start heading that direction.
Heading towards their fellows.
Towards like the sound of you guys.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Well, this is interesting.
I'm not going to, but I'm tempted to give Ionia a second hero point for understanding my Firefly references.
It was a good one.
Thank you.
How far away are they?
About 100 feet closing.
And we're in a bush.
There's a shrubbery next to you that Cal's sword has like got caught on and made a noise.
So can they see us now?
Not quite yet. They're able to see in the dark, but there are very few creatures. Oh, nope, never mind. I lied. Their dark vision is greater than 60. They see Senia. Or no, excuse me, I saw Senia's name. They see Kalira. They don't see you.
Alright, so Cal sees them coming. She's gonna step out.
Okay.
I'll also then step out next to him.
I might want to stay hid.
So
Just in case.
all 5 of them they're not much more than like sharpened bits of iron, but they're wielding them as if they were daggers. All 5 of them have them drawn.
Yeah,
Drawn?
They're just eyeballing us.
You said their weapons are drawn?
Yeah, weapons are out. They're eyeballing you. They haven't committed to anything yet. They're looking back and forth at each other.
So, going to kill some kobolds.
They respond in, I guess, just more like angry chittering back and forth to each other as they continue to advance. One of them points their dagger at Kalira and like shakes it.
Is there happen to be any dead kobold bodies nearby?
Not quite this close to the tree.
All right. So I'm just gonna just keep staring at them and just gonna try to give him a death glare. The one pointing at me.
Okay. Give me an intimidate check.
He's not a noble, is he?
Unfortunately, no.
Good thing I get -1 for that.
Just counting my hit dice really quickly. So it's yeah. Okay. So Cal turns and glares, and the mites all kind of stop short and look back at each other. They start backing off.
Yes, that wouldn't be wise.
It looks like they're going to turn tail and run off into the stolen lands unless you guys stop them.
No, I suppose. I just wanted to see them kill some kobolds. I thought it would be fun to watch.
Oh my.
Kato, want to do anything?
I know they probably can't understand me. Oh wait, can you guys?
What was that?
Oh, that was you. Never mind. Sorry. Someone posted something on Discord. I thought it was a question to me. I saw my name. I'm going to walk sort of forward, not quickly, but like briskly, kind of, and hold my hand out and say, hold on, don't go anywhere.
Okay. Make a diplomacy check. Bad cop meet good cop. Okay, that very high number overrides the language barrier penalty. A couple of them do skitter off, but the one that, we'll say the one farthest away, both from the threat and from Kalira herself, they stop short and they turn around and they just kind of look at you sideways. Ah!
I look to Cal.
Don't
Probably
look at
bring one
me.
of these back. We should probably bring one of these back to our camp.
What? The little thief?
Well, I mean, if we're going to be getting a translator, I don't think we want to be sending a goblin into the den. It would be nice to have one of these as a honored guest in our camp.
He doesn't. I mean, it's fine with me. I'll just kill it if it does anything.
So
Seems-
how many are here that haven't turned and run?
I'll say this one and one more. 2 of the 5.
I would like to attempt disarm.
Okay, so to do that would be to start combat with them.
Well, they can't understand us. They're not going to be like, "Hey, come to our camp." We're going to need to disarm them and drag
you
one
want
of
to?
them back to camp. Yeah.
Oh, you want to capture one? Well, you should have said so. Cal runs at
I was being more. I was saying it in a less aggressive manner. Yeah, we're capturing one.
I guess to do it not aggressively would be a diplomacy check, like pantomiming weapon ground kind of thing. Or you could, I guess I assumed you were just physically going to run up and take their weapon.
I'm just going to physically try to disarm them. Yes.
Hockey dokie.
Yeah,
this encounter will be theater of the mind. And
Okay.
I got, if Kalira and Kato would please roll for initiative. I don't know which one. I take the 17. Okay, got it. Oh, Kalira. You did so well once.
Oh,
24 to a 9.
That's my worst roll ever for initiative, anyway.
Yeah, and I have a +1. Okay. That's even with the reactionary oof.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 2d20. I had +1, so I have a 10 and a 6. Okay, I'll say both of them are about 15 feet away from you, and Kato is first.
All right. Theater of the mind. Interesting. I've not done one of these. So I just describe what I'm doing
Pretty much, yeah.
and roll as I do it.
The combat is still a combat. There's just no board, mostly because I don't think this will take long.
So I will draw my weapon as part of my move action as I approach the closest kobold
Sure.
and perform a disarm combat maneuver.
Alrighty.
Unless you're running very far. Because the nearest kobold is far from here.
Sorry, the nearest might.
Of course. Okay, make it so.
Now I don't have improved, so he gets an attack of opportunity.
He's also presently flat-footed, so.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And 18 is more than good enough. The mite's little dagger clinks on the ground and or in your hand. Anything else?
That's all I can do for now.
Alrighty. I'm gonna roll 1d2 for who was closer. Okay. So this one still has a weapon. It's going to flare its eyes open really wide and scream something out and come running at Kato to make a charge. He would like to attack you if Kato would like to provoke.
I would like to provoke.
Or like to parry, I guess, rather. You understand. Do the thing you do. Okay. You may fire when ready. 17 versus my 8. Yeah, it's not hard. This thing is like, it knows which end of the weapon is the sharp, pointy end. That's about as far as it got.
And I'll riposte.
Sure. A 20 hits. 9 slashing damage. If you'd like to flavor it.
I'm not even going to flavor it. You guys know what happens.
Okay. Fair enough. You stab the thing, it drops. I am calculating things that it has. It would remove and take that much damage. And it's still on the ground twitching as its insides are becoming its outsides. But you definitely are able to stab it in such a way that without like immediate medical attention. Bad things will come to it.
As a free action at the end of my turn, I will gesture to Cal to if he can grab the other one.
Okay.
The currently disarmed one.
Makes sense. And then pass to clear.
So Cal, we'll go ahead and do a grapple.
Yeah. I have no natural attacks, so there's not a lot I can do about it. I'm flat-footed anyway.
Let's do the CMD thing.
Mm-hmm.
CMB. There.
A 9 is literally a Might's combat maneuver defense. It's not hard for you to come up and just like yoink the thing off the ground. It's gonna try to break out for what good it can even maybe try to do. Oops, that didn't happen. I put equals 2. It should be, well, that's a 13 all told.
Mm-hmm.
Which probably doesn't break your CMD, I assume.
It's it's 18.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so then it passes to Kato. Initiative is basically, this thing is, its CMB is D20 plus -2. So it's basically not going to get out. There is one on the ground who is, like, without some kind of medical attention, will die.
I'm going to look to Cal and say, for peace in the party, I would recommend we don't tell the others about this.
I thought we were just going to capture them. This is very sloppy, Fop.
It's sloppy of me. It was sloppy of you to get seen.
Yeah, I got seen, and then I made them run. You said we're going to capture them, and then you killed one.
The one that attacked.
Anyway,
you
still killed it.
This one is suffering, and I'm going to put it out of its misery because it's literally bleeding out, and we don't have healing magic with us. So
Okay.
I'll coup de grace, and I'll just look at him firmly and say, regardless,
Works for me.
this stays here.
And so it was. 1 down, 3 scattered into the hinterlands, and 1 captured.
I'm going to now. If we're out of combat, I'll pull some rope out of my pouch and bind its wrists as we escort it back to the camp.
Okay. That technically takes a CMB, but like again, the combat maneuver bonus of a Might is so abysmal. Yeah, it couldn't. Well, it could break a 14. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so you escort it back. It's gonna try to escape its bonds.
Can I give Kato give me like assistance to hold him or something?
That is also true. You could definitely do that. Nevertheless, back to camp you return with the prisoner.
Commotion has drawn my attention. I immediately see the prisoner. What have you done?
We stumbled across.
I don't buy his crap for a second because I saw what they were doing. I go and investigate in the direction that they...
Oh my god. Well, there's lots of bodies everywhere, Esker, because,
I went in the direction that you went because I saw where you were and I saw where the party was going. And I would be able to tell if I saw a freshly killed corpse.
And in any case, there are no, you guys are still close enough to the old Sycamore that there's not, a whole heap and help of bodies out here. So, yeah, Arcturus can go examine, now there's a thing back in. There's a dead Might there.
Would I be able to tell that he killed it while it was down instead of trying to seek somebody to come here? Or would it all just look? He said he coup de grace it. I assume that would be some sort of like identifiable wound.
Yeah, give me a heal check, I guess. Heal or survival, whatever you can do. Okay, so it's very obvious there was a struggle here. It doesn't take a lot, even just looking around, you find a little tiny sharpened bit of metal that is the one they brought back's weapon. The other mite lies dead with a couple of slash marks on it.
I'm going to spend a while in prayer.
Okay. As you do so, you can feel, kind of like you did before, as you stop and you pray to Abadar, you can feel the scales shifting again. The feeling is, it's hard to tell what it means. It's almost as if, again, the ground is pitching back and forth as the scales are trying to balance. In any case, the prayer happens. Kato and Cal have brought a prisoner back. And what do next, team?
Cal will be like, greetings all. Look, Kato says I get to keep one.
So I take it you're waking us up then?
Yeah.
I'll kind of rub my eyes and wake myself up.
Oh yeah, you weren't awake for any of this. So we came across, while we were on watch, we came across a group of mites making their way fully armed to the kobold camp. We managed to scare most of them off, but a couple did not run. We managed to capture one. We figured we could use him to communicate with, assuming you have good luck with the goblin and a means to communicate. This could be one that we could converse with to learn more.
So, what you're telling me is you kidnapped one of them?
Oh, yes.
Were you going to send... What's the goblin's name?
His name is Bakken.
Bakken. Were you planning on sending Bakken into the mite den himself?
I wasn't going to send him in. I was going to go over like we did before and holler down at them.
Well, I feel like this is a much safer alternative for not.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll react very well to us taking one of their own captive.
Even better. We can take one of them to. We could just take him to Bakken.
That is another option.
Yes, let's make this kidnapping even worse. That's a great idea.
Look, assuming he gives us the information we require and we can broker a peaceful solution.
Then what? We don't kill him?
We can release him and he can be the one to go back to his community and
he can tell the rest of the community all about how we kidnapped him. It's a great way to make allies.
Look, most of them fled. One stayed around. We could have either and attacked us with arms. We could have either killed them all or take one prisoner, which we did. It was the best of a bad situation.
If the rest of them ran, I'm sure you could have scared off the last one as well. And it probably would have made it a little easier for us when we try to diplomatically speak to them.
Now then, you weren't there. You don't know the situation at hand. If you don't believe me that we made the best of the situation, then what else can I say? And I just walk away. Back to my camp and start fiddling with my kit.
I'm gonna go over to the one that they've captured. Okay. Is he tied up?
Yeah, his hands are bound, I believe.
I'm going to look at him and say, "Do you understand me, friend?" I'm going to draw a picture, and I'll light a torch if we're not near the fire, and I'll draw a little picture in the dirt of him and of I, like shaking hands or otherwise being friendly, sharing food or something of that nature, smiling.
Okay.
That's a very pretty picture.
They look down at it. As you bring the torchlight up, the mite's eyes kind of squint a little bit.
I'll pull the torch back.
Okay. It's still like, it's pretty bad. Its eyes are almost as big as its entire face, and it just like squints as the light gets even within like enough to illuminate the drawing, is enough to cause it discomfort. It sees and just kind of looks up at you and shakes a little bit.
Okay, I'm going to put the torch out.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, one more time.
Is he? You cut out on that last part. I'm sorry.
Is he tied up?
Yeah, his hands are bound.
I'm gonna cut him loose.
Okay. He would like to scamper back in the direction of his home.
I let him.
Okay.
What are you? I'm going to intercept.
Wait, nah, no, I'm not gonna allow that to happen. I'm right there. I'm not gonna let it go.
Okay, so technically, if Cal is right there, Cal has the chance to interject.
Yeah. I don't have to roll.
You don't have to roll. Like, you see her doing the thing, and you can talk to her as a free action, I'll say.
Yeah, this isn't. I get that you think everything is beautiful and lovely, but this isn't your call to make.
It wasn't your call to make to kidnap him either.
It wasn't my call. It was the call of our dear Lita, if you recall. So, if you want to let him go, you can take it up with him. But until then, he's mine.
He's not yours. He doesn't belong to anybody.
Oh, well, I have him, don't I?
Look,
Kato?
we're not talking about keeping him prisoner, locking him up like the kobolds did. He can be our honored guest. We just
You
don't
keep
want
your
him...
honored guest in ropes?
We're talking like a 15-hour round trip to get at best or at worst our translator here. I just want to speak to this one with someone who can communicate. Hopefully, we don't even know that our friend will even be able to speak with him, but.
And I believe the light hurts his eyes, so making him travel during the day seems
No, we're not.
cruel.
We're not taking him with. We're not sending him.
Well, I mean,
I'm coming back from the field. Let him go. I'm looking at Kato. Let him go.
He would appear
Fine.
silences. Oh, never mind.
I look over to Cal. Very well. Unbind him.
And basically, as
Okay.
soon as the unbinding happens, the mite goes, like, sprinting back in the direction of the old sycamore.
You should be ashamed of yourself. I'm frankly disgusted with all of you.
I just wanted to see them kill some kobolds. It's good tactical information.
I move away from the group for. I can still see what's going on, but I'm not wanting to be near them.
Sure. Okay. So then in that case, the rest of the night passes. Morning comes. I guess eventually whoever is on guard will see the remaining 3 mites make their way back. They are, as they do so, they're much more on guard. They have little, for them, probably javelins. For you guys, like particularly large darts. and they're all like triangle formation looking around as they make their way back under the tree. Morning dawns. 20th of Rova, I believe. Okay. So the plan is we send Senia and Ionia now out to Bakken's to go get Bakken and see if translation services can be provided.
I would ask that Ionia do not leave. Someone else should go with Senya. I'm making that specific request. Ionia. I think it's important that you don't have Kato go with Senya.
I'm not leaving the camp.
What, you wouldn't want your prisoner to get away?
Then she can go alone. But I'm not letting Ionia out of my sight, and I'm not leaving you here alone.
Okay. Does anybody want to go with Senya then?
I'll write a note. Senya seemed concerned about talking to Bakken. I'll write him a letter. I've got a journal and some an ink pen and everything.
Okay. Makes sense to me.
Basically just describing the situation, asking for his aid, and I'll include 10 gold.
Sure. Okay.
I guess the big question is, once you get there, just ask him if he has any whether he can himself or has any means of understanding Undercommon. Because if the answer is a flat no, then that's that. But if there is, then you can discuss like what that option is going to be. But just getting a yes or no answer would be important.
We'll send Senya with some of the party funds as well, maybe a couple hundred gold in case he's got like a potion or something that we might want to purchase for this.
Okay. Anything else?
I guess I hop on my horse and hightail it over to Bach, and then.
Gotcha. 8 hours pass. I don't know what the rest of the squad wants to do. If they want to do anything other than just stay at camp during.
I'd like to have a private conversation with you. Yeah.
Okay. We'll do that one first, then we'll jump over to Senia.
Private conversation first.
Sidebar. Yeah.
I'm only comfortable with this if we can have the mite with us during this.
The mite's gone.
Yeah, the mite was released.
Oh, the mite was released.
Mm-hmm.
I must have missed that.
Okay.
I don't even know where to begin. Clearly, we found ourselves in some terrible company. I don't know what kind of history you have with this boy, but I strongly suspect he is rotten to the core. He is always way too eager to kill things. He has no respect for sentient life. And frankly, every action that he does on his own is reckless and, to a certain extent, stupid. I mean, the very idea of kidnapping something as a means of diplomacy. Like, I think he's fundamentally sabotaged all of our efforts, because even if we can communicate with, not only do we have to excuse the kidnapping, but I also found the remains of another one that he killed. Not only did he kill it, but he wounded it and then killed it while it was wounded, instead of coming to get me to heal it.
Ionia looks horrified.
Your friend is, quite frankly, despicable. And I think we need to be on our guard. I knew the barbarians would be hit or miss, but I thought a so-called civilized person would show a little more of it. Instead, it seems like he's the most dangerous of all of us. And he's supposed to be the one that we're here to potentially prop up. That's not what Abadar would want, because Abadar stands for civilization, and he is anything but. The kind of civilization, so-called, that he would create is something that Abadar would be vehemently opposed. I'm very tempted to take you back to your father right now and tell him what a horrible misadventure this was.
I hate to admit it, but I think you may be right about Cato. This is not at all how I remember him. And at this point, I agree he is not fit for leadership.
My only concern is that by leaving, we leave the poor people of this land to his mercy. Which we've seen, there's not a lot of that to go around.
Yeah, he and Cal need somebody to check them, to be sure.
We'll have to see where Senya stands in all of this when she returns. Because she's, as far as I'm concerned, the only wild card.
Senya seems more civilized than these other two from the time that I've spent with her. She seems to have a good heart.
But for the time being, we need to make absolutely sure. I mean, I don't know what I was thinking. I should have gone with them. I thought for a moment, you know, they've shown some glimmers, some flashes of not being horrible. But the second I leave them to their devices, they're beyond despicable.
I mean, criminals are one thing, but these are innocents. As far as we know, there's no reason for any of.
So all I can say is we need to keep a close eye on them if we're going to stay. And frankly, when the time comes, I'm not so sure I would support him in any kind of position of power.
At this point, he's no king I would bow to.
That's all I had to say.
Okay, fair enough. So 8 hours pass. Senia occasionally, perhaps like a medium-ish sized predator animal approaches and like sniffs the air, or like you turn a rise and there's a wolf. But you, big rider on big horse, like nothing really jumps out at you. The day passes. You arrive at Bakken's hut. He is outside tending some strange. They weren't there last time. Perhaps it's hard to tell. As the sun hits, the flower changes from like red to yellow to blue and back again. He hears obviously the sound of a horse and looks up and says, it's that black stag girl. Yes, hello. What can Bakken do for you?
So as I ride up, I go, "Ho there, Bak. I was wondering if we could get your assistance with something."
Well, if the money's good, you know.
And I dig in my backpack for the letter that Ionia wrote and hand it over to him.
Okay. He takes it, unfolds it, pulls up some like really thick glasses, puts them on. Yes, I see you have a mite problem. I suppose you've come a little too close to that old tree, huh?
We have.
Everyone's still got their fingers and toes attached? Missing any bits of jewelry?
No, though perhaps missing some party unity, I would say. But was hoping that you could help us perhaps communicate with them. Do you perhaps speak Undercommon?
A little bit here and there. Certainly enough to talk to something like a mite in any case.
Would you mind coming along with me? I could take you back to our...
I suppose. Feel a little uncomfortable leaving the old hut unattended, but perhaps for the right price I could be persuaded to not water my plants for the day.
I dig around in my backpack for the coin purse I was trusted with and jingle it in my hand. Will this be enough?
I'd do it for, say, 20 gold.
I'll open up the purse strings and count out 20 and extend my hand to Bakken.
Good enough for me. And really quickly, could you make a perception check? So, in the time it has taken for the conversation to go on, you hear perhaps like the faintest fluttering of wings, and you turn back, and your horse's mane and tail have been, you're not sure how, but they are now presently a brilliant purple in color. Bakken sees this and kind of like rubs his eyes a little bit. If you can make a will save.
Oh boy.
Fucking Perlavash.
Fair enough. Before your very eyes, the purple goes back to the natural color of your steed. Bakken also seems to understand what he's looking at as an illusion. Perlavash has been here basically every day since about after you left to go find me those berries. Hasn't been in the nicest of moods, but, well, I can't exactly get him to leave without... And he turns, like, out in the direction of the horizon, draws a vial of something that bubbles ominously, and without threatening to blow his head off! In any case, he doesn't mean any harm, I suppose. Damn fate. Alright, here we go. And the horse is a little uncomfortable as the goblin hops on the horse. The goblin is a little uncomfortable being on horseback. A further 8 hours pass, and Senia and Bakken re-arrive at camp. In the intervening 16 hour, now it would be going on dark. Nothing has changed around the old sycamore.
So I ride up to our camp and with Bakken with me on horseback, and I brought the goblin friend back.
Bakken, it's good to see you.
Ah, yes, I got your note. Problems with... He waves over in the tree. Problems with the pests I see.
Not problems with them. And I look over at Cal and Kato.
You can keep
I'm
your
sorry, I
eyes.
glare.
You
I
can keep
glare
your
at
eyes
Cal
to
and Kato.
yourself, witch.
Put my eyes wherever I will.
She's very clearly not a witch also. I've met many a witch in my day.
Thank you.
She smells like a witch.
She smells like some kind of psychic. Lacks the connection to the outer forces, and I don't see a familiar either. Usually they have cats and birds and all manner of witchy things.
I don't know how it works. I just know when it gives me the creeps, okay?
Well, what do you propose we do?
Can't help it if you're scared of a little girl, Cal.
Bakken chuckles at this.
I was a little girl once.
Did you say it's night now, turning?
It's getting pretty dark, yeah.
Probably wait till day.
No, we should talk.
Well,
to
then
them
again,
at night.
last time.
We should talk to them at night.
Night would be
This
better
is
for them.
This is their hour.
Mites are certainly much more active in the dark, what with the sun in their eyes. They're not made for the material plane, let alone the sun of the material plane. Poor little bastards.
I'll brief Bakken and explain to him basically what we're trying to accomplish and ask if he can help us.
Alright, fair enough. You want to make peace with them, it is.
At the very least, we'd like their side of the story.
I see. Well, no one's ever really talked to the mites before, even my people. Well, when we see a mite, we see him, unfortunately, a little down our... And he runs his hand down his particularly long nose. What do you know about mites, anyway? Why are you trying to talk to them?
I don't know much, but they seem to be at odds with some other locals, and we're trying to create peace in these lands.
I see. Well, mites are generally speaking at odds with everybody. They're so... You gotta understand, they're originally from the First World. They're Fae. They were, I imagine, sometime around when the gnomes were ejected as well. Something along the lines of being far from where you're from changes you, and they were pathetic then from what I've read, but now they're just... They can resist a little bit of damage unless you got a cold iron weapon, but other than that, they're not really good for much. The sun hurts their eyes, they don't really have any useful skills. They understand how to stay together. Usually how it is someone will offend the mite won't be able to do something about it. They'll go run and hide, and eventually the anger will well up inside them, and then they'll try to do something about it, and, well, oftentimes it just gets the poor bastards killed. You seen any spiders or anything around here, by the way?
We've seen no spiders since the ones we encountered retrieving your bear.
Fair enough. I only ask because the little devils can speak to vermin. I imagine they've got all hosts of spiders and centipedes and bugs of all shape and size down there.
Perhaps down in their hole, yes. I don't plan on going in there myself. My hope is to draw them out to us and negotiate, a little on both terms, in the dark for them and above ground for us.
Okay. My next question is, does Bakken ever get wind from anyone about the events of the other night?
Oh, Cal would love to tell that story.
I will let him know that one was taken captive, and that once Artoris and I found out, we made sure to set him free.
I would like Cal to fill in the details, though.
Oh, sure. So, there we were. I saw some mites scampering off to probably do some raiding on our kobold friends. So, I decided to follow them, not to stop them, but, just to kind of spectate. Well, anyway, while we were going there, Kato was with me. He made up a lot of noise or something, and they came at me. So seeing they were small, but they definitely outnumbered us. So there was probably going to be a fight. So I diffused the situation with a little bit of a diplomacy. It worked. They all ran from me, except for two. Two of them looked at Kato for some reason. I don't really know why. And then oh yes, Kato said I could cape one. I remember that part. So we ran to capture them. At least that's what I thought. Kato grabbed one, and then the other one came at Kato. And things got messy. One of them ended up dead. We captured the other one.
Yona claps sarcastically and says, "What a brave tale."
Bakken's
I didn't say it was a brave tale. I said it was a funny one.
Bakken's fingers go to the bridge of his nose, and he pinches a little too hard and just shakes his head.
I was glaring at Kato throughout the whole story.
Did you all not hear about the parts where I was the diplomatic one, while the fop over here was a maniac?
What I heard was the Aldori has come and is killing all the mites.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
And I don't necessarily blame him for that, as he turns in the direction of Kato. Mites aren't one to be reasoned with. They're not like you and I, right? They come from a different place. Their makeup is different. They're sentient. They understand good and bad. They also understand shiny and want shiny. I can't tell you how many times I've had to run them off when they've come up to my hut, trying to steal even just bits of my fence post. That said, if you're trying to come here, stake your claim here in these lands, what you must realize is there are several creatures out here, not unlike these poor little bastards, as he waves broadly in the direction of the old sycamore, that won't be able to speak the same tongue as you, that don't know anything about civilization or the teachings of Abadar. What you do with them, obviously, so long as myself, so long as Oleg, so long as our livelihood is kept fine, he shrugs, it's probably going to come out better for us. But what I am saying is people are going to hear about this. Maybe not one kobold now, maybe not one Iruxi later. Actions have ripples. Just think about that before you go stabbing poor little Faye.
Very wise words, friends. As you said yourself, nobody has attempted to communicate with them, and perhaps that's why they are seen as pests.
It's entirely possible. Well, do you want me to talk to him tonight then?
That would be ideal, yes. I'll join you.
Alright, fair enough. Any of you fine, upstanding gentlemen and ladies want to follow us?
I'd very much like our Taurus and Senya to be there as well.
Definitely
Yeah,
going.
to-
I will be
perhaps
there.
not.
Your clear objections, I'm sure.
Do you think that's wise, Kato, to show your face when several of them saw you kill an ally and...
But actually,
had
no,
run off?
none of them saw it. Just one.
And certainly, mice aren't the most intelligent creatures out there, but they're smart enough to realize, looks Kato up and down and describes the way Kato looks, was the one responsible. Of course, he could hide from it, or he could go and own it.
Well, what will it be, Kato?
I'm going to see this through, so
How about we put Kato in manacles and let them decide how they want to deal with it?
how about you see how potent your threats really are?
Well said.
Alright, you two,
That sounds like consent to me.
bicker on your own time. And
Let's
Bakken,
just say you make a move towards me. I dare you.
if either one of you make a move towards either of you while I'm here, I swear to Callistria! He starts shaking a bunch of, things that look volatile.
Oh.
I have the means to stop both of you in my little finger.
I'll pat him on the head.
Cal gets all starry-eyed. Ooh, he's going to blow up something.
Pat him on the head and say, hopefully there will be no need for that. Come on.
Hopefully not. Now,
Oh,
he turns and begins hobbling his way over to the old sycamore. Once you guys reach, he makes a perception check, I suppose, doesn't he? So I'm not really sure where it is under here that they are, but I've heard that they're under here.
there's a hole. There's a hole over there.
Then someone shows him the hole, and he leans his head down and begins, top of his voice in Undercommon. There's some Undercommon back. The conversation goes for about 30 seconds. He picks his head up, turns towards you guys. Our esteemed hosts are willing to hear our piece, but they'd like I and only I to come in for now.
Are you okay with that?
Like I said, I've got enough power in my little finger to blow all of you to Pharasma. Only need the nail to handle a bunch of mites.
Alrighty. So Cal takes out her grappling hook and rope. So here, you just hold on to this rope, and if you're in trouble, and I know you can take care of yourself, but if you need to make a fast escape, just give it 3 tugs, and I'll yank you right out of there. How's that sound?
Fair enough. I'm sure it'll be quite the ride, me bouncing my head off roots and things. Should be great!
Yes.
And he hops down, makes his way over. It gets really quiet for, I guess, the pregnant pause lasts about 5 minutes, if anyone wants to react or do anything.
Did you say pregnant pause?
Yeah,
Yeah.
as in it gets really quiet for a while and no one says anything and it's kind of awkward.
I guess I should hand back the remainder of the gold that was entrusted to me back to our loot keep. And I dig for it in my pack and hand over the remainder of, what was it, 180? That's what we're left.
They gave you 200, so yeah. No, they gave you 100.
I thought it was
No,
200.
I gave her a couple hundred, so I gave her 200, and then I also of the party funds, and I gave her
10 of your own.
10 for
So
so I'll count it out and say so 20 is what was settled on.
Yes.
All right, thank you for returning this, and I'll put it back with the rest.
Bakken makes his way out eventually. The 3 tugs never happen. He makes his way up and, well, you'd never believe what I saw in there. It's almost like a bunch of little fey creatures are living under a tree. Strange days indeed. In any case, I've spoken with their leader, and their leader's enormous tick horse. He starts shaking visibly at this.
Tick horse?
Yes, tick about as big as me, big enough for him to ride.
That is disgusting.
It is! In any case, according to, I believe he said his name was Grabbles. I don't quite understand the language of... Technically speaking, it's spoken by the drow as well, but these... Well, they're basically just little I digress. Apparently, the kobolds got aggressive out of nowhere at them. They had been living in somewhat a sense of peace. Maybe sometimes someone has... What was the exact word? He starts snapping his fingers. Big, shiny, I take now, I think it was. I think that's how it translates into common, in any case. And then there would be a bit of a scuffle, but then sentiments would die out. Kobolds got real aggressive. Not too terribly long ago, the mites have been doing all they can to defend their home, been doing all they can to keep the mites away. They've actually... Fun fact, it's right inside. You almost can see it from here. But they've built a little catapult to stop intruders by literally throwing caltrops at people. It's hilarious. They even, to practice, they're eating the caltrops by firing them into each other's map. I guess they're not cold iron, is what we can determine from that. But the chief said something about finding a statue at some point. I didn't see it. They wouldn't let me see it. Apparently the two events corroborate.
Mm-hmm. This is interesting.
That lines up with the story the kobolds told us, and in both cases, seems like we have a case of theft and we have a case of sacrifice. So,
lesser of two evils and all that. Which kobolds do you mean, by the way? There's been a few out here in these hills.
The soot scales.
Ah, yes. They've only been called the soot scales a couple of weeks, mind you. Not long after, I assume, you all showed up. They change their names every time leadership changes, and when Chief Soot Scale, and he puffs out his chest at this, when he took over, they became the Soot Scales. Never really did a lot of much, not very warlike. Usually, I believe they live in an old silver mine. Usually they're content to just stay there.
Oh, silver mine, did you say?
Do you know anything about Tartuk?
Tarhu?
Their shaman.
I only know of the Soot Scales and that leadership changed, therefore they are now the Soot Scales. So far as anything else goes,
What were they called before?
Before they were called the Cinder Claws, I believe, and then after that they were called the Rock Biters, and leadership changes a lot for the kobold tribes around here. Recently, a lot of them have kind of just up and disappeared, though. Used to be the whole hills were teeming with kobolds. Then they kind of just one by one, he snaps his fingers, ceased being in, well, them thar hills. What I will say is, Tartuk does not sound like a kobold name. Usually they call themselves something like Soot Scale, or am actually a dragon, and not little pathetic lizard, right? You understand. Tartuk is too many syllables, and the wrong, you understand. Does that taste draconic to you?
That's very
Tartuk! And he tries to, shout it out. Nope, doesn't work.
Huh.
Yeah, I didn't like that priest from the very onset.
Of course you didn't, you're afraid of all things magic. Which is probably safe.
Yes. Alright, so...
In any case, it's very clear to me there are about 20 pieces moving here. One of them includes... He waves broadly at the five of you. So far as I can tell, so long as... Waves broadly at you. Take no further hostile intent against the old sycamore. Should be that the mites leave you alone. Sometimes they get a little jumpy, and they have the habit of kleptomania, like I've said. But the going rate right now is... There's been a misunderstanding. I actually convinced Grabbles that this one here, waves at Kato, was under some form of dark magic of the dragons. Seemed to buy it.
So, what I'm seeing here is a very good opportunity to profit. The kobolds have a silver mind.
They do.
If we could shift the focus of this war from battling over baubles to mining that silver for us, I think we would all appreciate a nice win like that, wouldn't we?
I think you would, certainly. The thing
I
about kobolds...
wasn't including you.
I think the kobolds, you gotta realize they're about as big as me, but they think they're about as big as, and he stretches his hands, about as big as dragons. If they're sitting on something that's valuable, they won't easily part with it.
Oh no, I don't think they would.
That kind of talk worries me. I'm gonna reiterate to you once again, there are a lot of powerful forces out here. Actually, on that note, it wasn't that long ago we saw some bandits going after Oleg's again. I guess I don't remember his name. I was there on a supply run, the big human man. Fancy... Yes, that's the one. Was able to drive him off. I guess there was a fire, though. Mostly just the grass outside the hut was burned. I don't think there was any casualties on either side. The point is, these lands are presently held by... From what I'm given to understand, a dead shot with a bow who's also drunk himself into a stupor. The 5 of you, brave warriors, noble barbarians, priests, psychics, you are powerful, but you will need friends. I'm very sure, and he turns over towards Senia, I'm very sure our Black Stag friend has probably told you all about the Tiger Lords. They come raiding here from time to time, and if they hear that there's a nice new grape growing on the vine for them to steal things from, well, what do you think's going to happen? To say nothing again of the Rooksy, the trolls, creatures such as myself. I wouldn't be thinking profit. I would be thinking long term. I would be thinking 20 steps ahead right now, or you'll run out of steps at 4.
Did you say Tiger Lords?
He nods. They live farther to the east of here. It's quite a ways, but it's not uncommon for them to come out this way.
They are vicious.
They are!
That's what I understand as well. They killed my adopted brother's family.
I'm sorry to hear that, friend, but it's not uncommon, as our Black Stag friend once again can tell you.
I nod affirmatively. It is not a tale I'd like to repeat.
Of course, please forgive me for bringing it up, but I feel it is important now. I let you know that if you've come here to tame the wilderness, people are going to see that. People are going to see it as a target in the same way you look upon the kobolds, you, big girl, and you see their silver and you think, ooh, money. People will look at you the same way. Choose your friends. Now, is there anything else you want me to do or say to our sad, fey brothers and sisters in this giant tree?
Would they be willing to give up what they've stolen?
Specifically the statue.
Specifically the...
If we can promise them there will be no more sacrifices of their people.
Well, I suppose if you gave them something of similar value, they might consider maybe backing off a little bit. They like all things shiny. The thing is, there are things that are shinier than other things, if you understand my meaning at all on that one. Give them something better, give them something they want more. Yeah, they might be persuaded to get rid of something of lesser value.
A barter.
Well, what will
They like ale.
consider?
They like ale.
Do the mites like ale? Depends how shiny it is, doesn't it?
I don't know. They ever drink it?
Not in the same way you do, friend. Mites, generally speaking, they have to eat, of course. They are living, breathing sad sacks. but living, breathing they are. They prefer, things that are magical, things that are mechanical, things of that nature. Or, again, just something that's shiny.
Things that are mechanical. All right.
In any case, would you like me to go talk to him about organizing a trade, or should I get some shut-eye and head back and make sure my house wasn't burned to the ground?
Yes, if you don't mind. Just that one last conversation.
All right, fine, fair enough. 3 tugs, barbarian.
That is the arrangement. Yes.
3 tugs, and he hopes down once again.
As he disappears into the hole, I'll give Senya a sympathetic look.
So Cal says, so this what I was inferring is that if we could somehow broker this piece, it could make it work for us. I mean, we could maybe if we can get the kobolds to mine the silver, couldn't they just give a portion of the silver to the mites?
In exchange for what? They're not going to just give it away willingly.
No, just so they would stop being bothered by mites.
Perhaps in exchange for their statue back.
Right. I could see a one-time trade being made, but...
No, what I'm saying is the harry them. They've been harrying them to steal their stuff. Well, they've been sitting on this silver mine. Why don't they just make it work for them?
I think sitting on it is exactly what they enjoy doing.
Yes, they are wannabe dragons, after all.
Sure.
Dragons hoard treasure. They don't share treasure. Now, if it was they were getting something in return that was also equal or greater value, like, say, their idol, I could totally see them, being willing to make a concession, but I don't see them appeasing the mites, preventing further raids and conflict by giving them their shinies, willfully. I mean, I think it's just being a little optimistic.
It's around this time that Bakken pokes his head up, ear first, I guess, sideways, and then around and up. The great and esteemed High Chieftain Grabbles has bade me report that he is willing to give up the statue in question. I think I described it right. Some kind of big kobold thing. I assume it's the only one in there. It sounds important. If you can stop the raids by the kobolds. And he nods. How you want to do that is up to you, but that's what we're looking at right now. They don't want shinies. They don't want, which is strange. Also, on that note, that's how bad this is for them. They are not concerned with material, he throws up air quotes, wealth. They are concerned about their well-being. Stop the attacks. You get what you need.
That seems like a fair bargain.
Seems like an assassination.
The question is if this shaman will be satisfied with the return of the idol. I know that we had.
Isn't it obvious that the shaman just removed that gets in his way?
Right.
The shaman did tell me that he would be willing to consider stopping the mite sacrifices if the relic was returned. That said,
and you
I
believe
don't
him?
exactly trust his word.
Yeah, he's been sacrificing since before the relic was gone.
Yeah.
I believe the chieftain seems honorable enough and would be true to his word. You interacted with the shaman far more than I did, though. So,
I don't believe the shaman can be trusted. I think our best course of action is to have a private discussion with the chieftain and see how he would feel about appointing a new religious figure, perhaps.
These kobolds are dupes. If what they respect is power and magic, we show them more power. We show them more magic.
I think what they respect is their deity.
Yeah, their ascended dragon god. That was
Exactly.
once one of them.
And then who speaks for this dragon god? But the one that shows the most power, the most magic.
I don't think you quite understand
that's
how
understandable.
religion works, Cal. This is not a situation of might makes right.
I'm not saying it's might makes right. I'm saying if we want to sway their loyalties away from this not the religion but the figure who stands for it,
then we need to
we show
a new figure of the same deity.
Yeah, we're not going to install like a charlatan to replace a charlatan.
Okay, fine. I'm done.
Well, do you need anything else from me, or can I head back home?
We should probably take him back, right? That seems a little heartless to make him walk back.
You should probably take him back. We could send him back with one of the horses, though we're a horse short that way.
So once our translator friend here is gone, how do we plan to broker the trade if we can no longer communicate with the mites? We may need him to stick around for a little while longer. Can the kobolds communicate with the mites?
Hard to say.
Yeah, it's hard to say, right? Like, we would need someone to liaison between the two groups.
Do you think having discussed this with them, if we were to return, do you believe that there's a way we'd be able to communicate them without you now?
Not unless one of you is gonna learn how to speak their language.
Can you teach me a few words?
I suppose. And he pulls out a piece of paper and he writes. I'm trying to think how I want to flavor or describe this, I guess. Using what he's given you is enough of a rough translation. Obviously, how to put the words is not accurately described, but you can. I really don't have a good analogy for how well you can speak this language, but you can.
Could we ask them to, as a gesture of goodwill and faith, to give us the idol for now? We will go to the kobolds and offer to return it only under the strict terms that hostilities are ended. And if they do not agree to the terms, then we'll agree to return the idol. Basically.
What about a two birds, one stone situation here? What if we say that they agreed to return the statue in exchange for the shaman?
Well, my lord, I tried to get the statue first. I understand that the mites, well, they've been kicked around for as long as Galarian has been a planet. But they've gone in such a way that they're not willing to give it up. They don't want to die, but they don't want to lose either. They're willing to give up the statue if the raids stop, but they're not willing to tarnish what little pride they have. As for you, as far as the 2-for-1, it's possible I could go speak to him again. I worry. Well, okay, I need to confide in you really quickly. I'm terrified of insects. There's a centipede in there that's bigger than my house. I really would rather not go down there again, to say nothing of should I put a foot wrong. The second time was enough. They're agitated. Yes, I can blow up some mites. But I counted, because I'm smart, you understand. what was it? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. He like starts like jotting out a basic map. 15, probably about 20 mites or so in there, to say nothing, again, of a centipede as big as my home, and a tick. You understand how ticks hunt. Yes, jump on the back of a dog, suck the blood out, engorge themselves. Now imagine if it was big enough to carry a mite. Do you think you got enough blood to survive that? I probably don't. Also, again, I'm terrified. I don't necessarily want to go back in there if I can avoid it.
Fair.
That's fair. We will not make you go back in there. Do we have a plan here?
Yeah, we go talk to the chieftain. We somehow get him away from the shaman, which I can certainly help with, and then we see what we see from there. We just take it one step at a time. We don't need to plot this out 30 steps ahead.
Are we finished with Bakken? May he return home.
Bakken blinks several times exaggeratedly when we don't need to plot this out several steps ahead.
Said 30, not several.
Bogdan, would you object staying a day at our camp?
Suppose I could. Another 20 gold pieces.
I just hate to send away our only real means of communicating when this negotiation comes to a head. I don't distrust your ability to teach Ionia a thing or two, but I just don't want communication breakdown to happen due to language barrier.
And I just hate to be away from my home when this region is crawling with bandits. If you're willing to pay me for potential damages that I, on my person, may accrue, or my home may accrue, I'm happy to stay and help. My lord. And he bows.
If there's bandits about, let the man protect his home.
All right. I just wanted to throw the suggestion.
I'm pretty good with language. I think as long as I'll practice saying some of the words back to him. Does that sound about right?
That's about right, yeah. Fortunately for you, again, the mites are speaking that language. The mites don't have much of a grasp on proper syntax. Really, all you need is enough to say, what is the shiny thing? What do you want to fight? What are you running from? What is the food? Where is the bathroom? And you'll be fine. That's really all they have going for them.
Okay, fair enough. Are we sending him on just one of our horses, or are we sending him back with Senya again? How are we proceeding?
My word as a gentleman and a scholar, the horse will be taken. I can't speak to Perlavash, but Perlavash isn't strong enough to kill a fully grown horse, and probably wouldn't either. Well, maybe. I don't know. He seemed pretty rankled. In any case, the horse, so far as I am concerned, will come to no harm if I'm to borrow one. I don't particularly like them. They don't particularly like the way people like me smell, but he shrugs.
Why don't we have Senya do another quick round trip on the horse while we... Well, I guess it's nighttime. No, we probably don't want to do it. Yeah, we'll just... Are you guys okay with letting him borrow a horse for the time being?
It's fun for me.
Yeah. You can leave in the morning. Stay the night, leave in the morning if you want.
Good enough for me. And
we'll come recover our horse from you once we return that way.
He nods. As he does so, he clambers up into the saddle and leans forward. As he does so, he withdraws some kind of vial of something and feeds it to the horse. The horse kind of like a little bit because something tastes bad, but then obviously is much like better equipped to see in the dark. Thank you very much, as always, for calling on noble and humble Bakken for all of your alchemical, translating, and pest control needs.
Thank you, Bakken. You've been
Thank
wonderful.
you.
Yeah! And he yells yeah at the top of his voice, but the horse kind of just starts trotting a little. And we will resolve the second half of this next time. Thank you guys for watching. I'm I'm very curious to see how the arc of Cato, the tale of Cato and Artorias goes as the campaign moves on. But only time will tell, my friends. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Say bye, y'all.
Bye.
See ya.